Oh, fuck it. One. Let me just mute myself. Hello.
Welcome to the Platy-pro weekly number 6, as I'm joined here not by that image that you see there, but by another man, another Kiwi, another sheep. Though he does not. Nah.
Ram you.
Joined by Vaj, some of you may recognize him. He's a sleepy sheep, but that's alright. We've got an awesome series to start ourselves off. So spawning here in the top left-hand corner as the Red Terran, who's an up-and-coming Korean pro, has been really fun to watch. It is Lero.
Yeah, he's shown some crazy-ass games from time to time, even against the pro players. In the bottom right-hand corner, we have spawning in the purple trunks. He's played in a fair few of tournaments that I've casted. It's Rival Gaming's Eon. And this will be interesting. I'm definitely favoring Lero on this, like in terms of skill level, just because Lero is Korean. However, Zerg is very powerful right now on this map.
Yeah. Lero, last I knew, he had a really cool style, in that he would open like ghosts and then go like Hellbat Cyclone Ghost, and it was a really tough style to deal with because if you go roaches, then the ghosts snipe your roaches and the Hellbat Cyclone kill everything else. But if you go like Ling Bane, then you're going to trade badly with the Hellbat Cyclone. So it was a really strong style, and I think it got nerfed in the buffed in the last patch. Now that they start with more energy.
Yeah, well, they don't need cloak anymore, really. So the really early cloak openers aren't really a thing anymore. But now, the mid-game timings with Ghosts and even late-game timings with Ghosts are a little bit better, so we'll see how that works out. But Lero already opening up in like a Gumio-esque way with a barracks on the low ground and a marine first. This is actually pretty cool on this map. You can get that first overlord if you're really, you can kind of save it if you're really focusing, but it kind of denies a lot of scouting here for the Zerg player, who's going for 3 hatcheries.
Yeah, this is really greedy. But maybe this is a style that Eon, maybe he's faced Lero before on the ladder and maybe feels comfortable with this kind of style, but it's quite easy to punish.
Is the way to punish it with very, very fast ghosts, because the Ghost Academy is already down. For some reason, I really thought you needed a factory, but I think that might be for the nukes. So, ghosts are coming out ridiculously fast. We'll see what kind of damage you'll get done with those. I'm not sure what kind of a push he's planning here.
Yeah, so if he's still doing a similar style to what I've seen in the past, he actually hits much later with the ghosts. He kind of builds up to about 6 or 8, and then it goes one factory behind that, and builds up a Hellion and then the Cyclone count. So it usually hits at about kind of 5 minutes, but it's a real lethal timing if you don't know what to do against it.
You know what's really cute? He's actually researching Concussive Shell on the tech lab and then cancelled it to make it look like he's going for a stim. So I don't. If Eon reads into that a little bit too much, he's like, all right, he's going bio. This is all happening. He's been denied scouting so much, and that's all he's seen. So it might make him, make a few too many drones and maybe make a composition that's not good against this mass ghost attack.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. It's just it's a fun little trick at low cost. And that's what it's all about. Like, I think that's something that Korean players in general excel at. Is not just in their mechanics, but more so their mind games. They really understand how to trick their opponent and what can go through their opponent's head when they get scouted. So it's a really high level.
Really close. Those two ghosts, like almost in the vision of that overlord there. Yeah, I guess he's trying to hide it. Maybe he's trying to like prepare for a Nidus, because we look at Lero's vision. He's actually scouted Jackal. Like it's all black on the other side of the map. So, I don't know. It all comes down to this timing, right?
Yeah. Now there is that Roach Warren, and kind of what I was saying about at the start of the game is that ghosts are a great counter to roaches, great counter to queens, as they can just snipe them quite easily. But do you think if there's enough roaches that they can overwhelm the ghosts? Because it does cost energy to snipe them.
Yeah, I mean, there is a weird timing, but he's droning behind this. If you went for like Ravager Ling Bane, there might be a way to abuse that and attack here, especially with this ghost not having any cloak just yet. I mean, it's odd. I'm not entirely. Oh, they do have cloak, but they don't have extra energy. Is that correct?
No, they got extra energy and no cloak.
No cloak. So yeah, they keep changing it. I'm not sure what iteration we're on now.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure if it was a nerf or a buff, but most people tend to agree that it was actually a buff, as it's easy enough to get the cloak, and most times you don't actually need the cloak, and that you would rather more energy for more abilities. But here we go. We have to see how the ghost decided to defend against this. Oh, loses one.
One ghost's already gone down. Now he's trying to snipe as many roaches as he can, and he's already... Wow, he's absolutely annihilated all those roaches. Practically for one ghost, right?
Yeah. This is a really nasty timing, in that not only is it good defensively, but it's also incredible offensively as well. I think we'll start to see as that cyclone count gets to about 4. I think that's the timing for Lero to move out.
There was also 4 Hellions on the opposite side of the map trying to get some damage done. He actually scouts the 3 queens and the lack of drones at the 4th base. So I feel like Lero probably feels decent in this position right now to go for some sort of timing, but I don't think he realizes how fast that 3rd base has actually been there for. So he's been behind economically for a while now. So pretty much all of his eggs are in this one ghost cyclone basket, and Eon going for that 4th base, going for Hydras, going for Aspire, kind of, making it a very tight defense if he does actually defend it.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm worried about this Spire, as Cyclones, with the recent change to their lock-on ability, where they fire a lot more volleys in their first lock-on, the moment they lock on, makes them a lot better against things like Mutas. And obviously Ghosts with the sniper ability can just murder them.
And they do extra damage to light. I think it takes 3 Ghosts to one-shot a Muta.
Wow.
And Ghosts actually have a decent amount of hit points as well. They're about the same hit points as a Muta. I think they're about exactly the same. 100, no, Mutas are 125 or something? Close enough, but Mutas just aren't able to really compete with that. And here comes the push right now. Another 4 Cyclones on the reinforcement as well. Eon putting all this money into upgrades for everything. Hydras, Roaches, 1-1 upgrades which aren't done yet, plus 1 attack vehicles on time right now for Lero for this push. Will he have enough? He's got a couple transfusions and a spine crawler, but it's not looking like his army's looking that scary.
Absolutely not. It looks like 1-1 will just finish in time, but his other upgrades aren't going to have any impact. And oh my god, the snipes murdering the front line of Roaches, and the Cyclone Backbone probably going to be enough to clean up by the looks of it. And Eon caught a little bit off guard by this.
Yeah, I mean, there's no 3rd command center behind it. He's only just started it now. So even if this base is lost, the game's not technically over. He does have that upgrade advantage, but the reason that... Oh, no. Now he's going for it again. I'm not so sure about this one now. I take it back. This is looking pretty dire now.
Yeah, it really is. I've even seen Lara in the past drop down a mule just to repair this, but he is running out of energy on the ghosts, and only 5 cyclones left. Maybe Ling Hydra, I think, will be the answer that Eon's going for. Maybe that could work here.
Well, the Cyclones provide a little bit of a buffer. The Ghosts do a decent amount of damage against those light units, but the Hydra is jumping right on top of those Ghosts, canceling the snipe, and now those Ghosts are running for their lives all the way back home.
Yeah, a couple of cyclones to buffer for them in the meantime, but it looks like they will survive, and that's the real strength of this style, is that Ghosts in the current iteration of StarCraft are fantastic in the early game, mid-game, and late game. They don't lose any viability. The Cyclones, great in the early game, but start to peter off very quickly the moment that Zerg starts to build up that critical mass of units.
This is a really good spot now for Lero, even though Eon was able to push it away. A couple of micro mistakes there for Eon. He was in a good spot to defend that if his upgrades were finished. Just kind of a little bit impatient, and Lero was able to capitalize on that, but still no third command center landed for him. He's just kind of pittering between his natural and his third for now as he tries to secure that. He's actually going to go for that front third.
Now, usually you take the frontal third if you want to start pushing towards your opponent. And this makes a lot more sense with mech, right? Because you're a slower style, and if you're closer to your opponent with your bases, then you can start to not only defend yourself, but start to push on the Zerg's territory.
Incoming 3 Muta hit squad. That's a lot of gas. I mean, I'm not entirely convinced that 500 minerals, 500 gas, including the Spire, is going to get too much done here. Massive amounts of turrets just get plopped down to deal with this, so I guess, like, indirectly, these mutas did some damage, I mean, weirdly enough.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where... Rip!
I think that, I don't even think you need to say anything. I think that kind of said exactly what you were thinking there.
But it's one of those things, like, forcing turrets out of Terran isn't quite as bad as, say, like, in Zerg versus Protoss forcing Spore Crawlers out of Zerg. Like, the turrets kind of are helpful all game long for Terran. Whereas, you know, and they don't really lose an SCV when they do it. Yes, it's expensive, but minerals isn't that important for Lero. He's more interested in gas.
Yeah, especially with the style, right? I mean, generally, if you're going for bio, it's a little bit different. If you go full barracks, the barracks cost a lot of minerals. Marines and Marauders very mineral heavy. It's a little bit more effective, but even then, with the mules and the fast bases, it's actually not too bad.
No, not at all. I suppose even if we go bio, you don't really need the turrets as much anyway, because your reinforcements tend to deal with low numbers of mutas. I guess when there's like a pack of 20, that's when you have to worry.
So, I mean, Lero's army is not that scary, to be honest, right now. Eon's only been focusing on army units this entire time. He's been sticking to that low 50s for his drone count. And Lero keeps trying to push in here, which he's doing again. There might be a chance with some good control, good concave, that the Hydra Roach will be able to break this, but I think with very good snipes, I'm not sure he's going to have enough damage from those Hydras that will be left over.
Yeah, I think you're right there. And if anything, like, if the last fight was any evidence of how well Lero can control this and how well he can snipe, I think Eon might be in a lot of trouble here.
I mean, Lero hasn't scouted the 4th base, so you think this is just a 2-base Zerg right now, so he's just kind of letting this happen, and is actually going to try break it. Not a lot of Roach Hydra. They go to snipes all on Hydralists. They are the scariest part of this army. The Cyclones being able to tear through everything else, again with that upgrade advantage. Cyclones able to absolutely tear through the entirety of the army, and now there's only 7 Roaches left, and I think it's going to be time for Eon to tap out here. He's got absolutely no army units. He's got some drones maybe to pull off the line, but he's starting to lose absolutely everything.
Yeah, I think that this will be the beginning of the end for Eon, as now this army marches into the main base, going to start killing off all the drones, all the tech, and setting the Zerg back into the Stone Age. And GG will be called. Lero going to take game number 1.
Yeah, very convincing win there for Lero. I think I've been missing out on these games. Like, I don't think I've seen Ghost Cyclone ever. At least on ladder, I haven't seen any of this yet.
No, this
I
is...
mean, it could be the future, but I can't. I feel like it's still a little bit vulnerable at times.
Yeah, and yeah, this is specifically more of a Lero thing that I've seen him do. Oh my god. I just said your name is Lero in the overlay. You wish.
Great. No, I don't want to be Terran scum. What do you
But I mean, if you're, in my opinion, I think what you would do against this would be to go for Ling Bane and just try and bust early. Because what does he really have early game? He's got like 4 ghosts and maybe like 4 Hellions at most. I think that's quite bustable, to be honest. I think what he's going for is quite greedy. And I think Ling Bane in general is just good against ghosts. Like, is he going to snipe Banelings? Well, they're much harder to snipe and they're a lot faster.
Yeah.
And the Banelings are good
Especially
against...
with Lero scouting so little, right? He only committed to 2 Hellions at the very beginning, and then started adding on more and more Cyclones. Ghosts, although they do so much damage to light units, Zerglings are so cheap, you can make so many of them, and if you don't make enough Hellions, you can just overrun.
Absolutely. Alright, well, winning that last game, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, as a red Terran, it is Lero.
And in the top right-hand corner, as the purple Zerg, representing Rival Gaming, it is Eon. Style generally revolves around a lower drone count than one we're used to, and let's see if it comes out even on a map like Black-Pink, which is a bit easier to hold 3-4 bases. Catalyst, of course, has that 1 or 2 angles, really. Once you take that 3rd base, you can kill some rocks, and the other one's really tight choke points, so only really 1 angle to attack on that 3rd base, and Lero was able to utilize that. Here on Black-Pink, it's even more difficult to attack, and oh, what is happening?
We have the proxy.
But I mean, he tried to go for it, and the SCV just kind of caught a slight wind of it, but I'm not sure exactly what this is about. I think he's just going to expand anyway. He's hoping to pull more SCVs off the line, I assume, but it isn't too scary.
He'll also SCV scout, so Lero, you know, he's playing quite safely against this, and I like this. It's a very clean reaction to what Eon is doing here. It's just, I'm just going to kind of low commitment to remove that, and make sure that you're not doing it all in behind it.
I don't even think this is enough SCVs to out damage the hatchery. He's just kind of hoping that this gets cancelled, right? Like, I guess when the Marine comes out, it's gonna be a little bit less scary. The pool is so late, so I guess he's not too worried about it. So, I guess it's a little bit of a smart move. Very, very slight tweak. Pulling the SCVs off gonna be nice.
You know what? I think Lero actually wants it to finish. Now that his ECV scouted knows that the pool is late, he's like, please, just commit a drone and 300 minerals into my base to do nothing. Like, I'm not even mad.
Yeah, and he's just taking the natural base, and this is just gonna carry on. I guess the scariest thing is if 6 Zerglings start here for Eon, since there's only 2 Marines, that's gonna be, oh, there they are actually right now, 4 Zerglings, and the Broodlings that come out of this as well. I don't think the Queen's gonna finish, but it's gonna be pretty tight.
Now, when the Broodlings come out, do you think he's gonna go for the tech lab, or he's gonna try go for some SCV kills?
Well, I'm not even sure if the Broodling's gonna finish. These Lings actually working through all of these Marines.
Oh,
There's no
wow.
Reaper, the Micro, the SCVs are all getting pulled off the line now to try and kill this hatchery as fast as he can. He sees it wobbling. What is this? Is I think this is like a game-ending move right now. Suddenly the Queen pops out. The Broodlings are yet to come out, but even when they do, that's gonna be scary for the SCVs. He's down to 12. The Queen gets a couple kills, now he's trying to micro around and stuff. The SCVs are still off the line. More Lings coming out. The 1 ghost is here, but they can't snipe. And more and more Lings are being made. What is going on at Anzi?
This is like the lowest commitment proxy I've ever seen. He's like, alright, I'll just put this here. But I mean, it's working. It's a build order counter in a way. Oh my god.
Oh, the Queen.
Project Shield.
The Queen came out. Oh my god, it worked.
Perfect.
Alright, now I know how to beat this build. Alright, cool. we never need to worry about this build ever again. This build is now done.
It is.
Will never work.
Just drone scout every game and just lazily drop down a hatchery. Don't even
just put down a hatchery, and then they go like, oh well, I can't go tech lab anymore because I just die. Damn. I mean, he could have pulled more ACVs off the line and killed it. I think it was a smart move. He really thought Eon wasn't going to commit, or at least cancel it. And I think once he realized that there wasn't a cancel on the hatchery, it's probably a good idea to, I don't know, maybe pull more. I don't think you ever let that hatchery finish, because even the broodlings are a bit scary.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot he could have done. Like, he could have thrown down a bunker. Yeah, the tech lab was the suicidal move in a way. But yeah, I think the moment you you might be right there. You might be. I think you're right. Just don't let it finish, and you should be golden. But here we are into our third map on a biogenesis. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner is the red Terran. It is Lero.
And in the top left-hand corner, in the purple, again, it is the Rush map. We just saw the proxy hatch to rule them all. It's Rival Gaming's Eon. After all you really need is 14 Zerglings and 2 Queens in your opponent's base. Ask Golden, guys. Just get them with Overlord speed and you dump them in. You're fine. Biogenesis, we're definitely going to see something aggressive like that again, right?
Yeah, I mean, I almost thought for a second when Eon took the gases there, of course he was doing the extractor trick, but for a second I thought he was going to do the Ravager rush, which makes a lot of sense on this map because it's very short, very close distance, and you could probably get there before there's much time for the Terran to respond. But Lero is going to SUV scout once again.
Yeah, I mean, especially after game number 2, he's like, that's embarrassing. That got on stream. There's at least like 20 people or so that saw that. I don't really want that to happen again. I mean, he's one of the best Terrans that we have in like these lower league cups. He takes games off of even the pro players when they're laddering. So you don't want to go down like that.
No. And that seems to be a thing I see a lot from Korean pros, is that if they lose a game like that, they'll probably do the same build, but they'll make adjustments, right? They'll just be like, oh, well, I'll just wall off the top of my ramp sooner, or I'll SEV scout. And just, they show like a bit more respect to their opponent, and take into consideration what they might do to throw their build off. But for the most part, the Koreans pick a build that's solid against almost everything, and tend to just try and do that every single game. Yeah. Alright, well that's a good spot to park an Overlord. I wouldn't be surprised if Lero actually lifts the barracks to kill it. But, will not.
I mean, he's going for the Ghost build again, so he needs that tech lab down ASAP to get that Ghost out. If we were to see like the Hellion builds, that's okay, because they can delay the reactor by like a smidgen. But in this game, we do see Eon looking to do that like 4-minute bailing bust. He's already making the Zerglings. He's stopped at that 20 drone mark. This is going to be like a ZVZ build. And if you don't have Hellions, if you don't have a bunch of Marines, you can I think you do just straight up die to this.
Yeah.
And Lero has to scout it, and he has nothing really to look for it with. No Reaper, no ACV out on the map. It's going to be a tough hold if he does.
Yeah, it absolutely will be. I feel like the weakness of getting this fast Ghost Academy it slows down the factory so much, which is you need the Hellions to really deal with the Lingbane.
Here come the Lings out now. The Baneling Nest is finished. He's got enough for about 8 Banes or so. I'm not entirely convinced that this build is solid enough to be able to hold this Bane bust off. There's going to be so many Banelings. He might even have Banelings inside the base as well when the SCVs get pulled off the line.
Yeah. And when it gets to that point, like the Terran has so much to fight that sometimes they have to let the Banelings finish anyway, because you don't want to focus fire the cocoons while Zerglings are just munching on your Marines, right?
So that one Overlord still alive, but he's supply blocked for a little bit here, so his Ling reinforcement's going to be a little bit late, but this is a decent amount of Banelings. If 3 of these Banes get sniped, this is going to be okay-ish. The Ghosts get pulled back all the way, but all the depots absorb the bailing hits, and now there's no bailings for this SCV pull, but the ghosts aren't able to put out that much damage. The SCVs are all going down. Now you're trying to surround the one ghost that he has, keep that alive. It's the biggest DPS he has in this. The second ghost comes out, that gets instantly surrounded, but the other one trying to create like an SCV armor, which he is able to. He's trying to keep these lings out and active. There's no depot that's made. He needs to make that depot to keep the rest of the lings from coming in, but here they come. Oh, that was tight. That was tight. And he still
Like a
has 50
tiger.
SCVs, 2 Hellions out as well. And really losing those 2 Banes at the wall off is going to make this a very, very tight hold. He might be able to do it. Whoa, the whole position getting some more SCVs. The Ghost is so close to dying. Oh no, that's it. That's it. There's only 1 Hellion left.
Yep. Only 1 Hellion, 4 supply here for our Red Terran. And to think Lero would be one of the first people knocked out of the tournament is very, very surprising.
Yeah, it just shows that if you're playing in a tournament like this, even if your ladder build is fantastic, it needs to hold all sorts of attacks. GG's typed out. It needs to hold all sorts of attacks, and I think we saw Eon go, wait, is that seriously your build? Okay, I'm not gonna play any sort of like a macro game against that. There's no reason to. I can kill you in about 3 minutes, right, with a bunch of Zergling Bane or a proxy hatchery with absolutely no commitment. And why not? Why shouldn't you go for something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. In a way, he just like kind of downloaded him. Like he lost the first game because he was like, "Whoa, what the hell is this?" Because like no one really does that. And then game number 2, like what we were talking about was what if he just gets Ling Bane busted? Well, that's what happens. And in a funny way, the recent change that Cloak is no longer free, but you start with more energy, actually kind of nerfs the build. Yeah.
Yep. In this one in particular, right? If he's going very greedy without scouting or anything, it's a big deal.
All right. Well, that's our first little series there. I'll go ahead and chuck you the bracket. So I know you kind of just hopped in pretty late. I was just kind of like, hey man, you wanna cast? And you're like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we keep to the Steam deal, every game I cast, it's another like coupon for another hand job. You know how it is.
Yeah, it's starting to stack up now.
Yeah, it's getting to the double digits now. It's just.
Yeah, I've been working out. I'll manage.
Oh, my arm's getting tired. Shut up. You play stuff. It'll be fine.
When you bust a nut, but he keeps shaking.
Just stop, please. You're just gonna get me stuck in that vice-like grip, man. You just can't deal with it.
All right. Let's see if I don't know if I still have it, but if you want to chuck me just for the overlay, just so we look semi-professional, if you could just chuck me an image of yourself. I can't be bothered setting up the whole video thing.
Because right now I'm like in the dark.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could have said that there is an image of you there, but
there may or may not be clothes on me right now. Hold on, I'll put like a. Oh, I can do the Tinder photo.
Oh.
Yes. So this is a photo that when we went camping was the guaranteed 3,000 Tinder girls photo.
So if anyone tunes in, they would just think that this is actually a romance.
No, it's fantastic. I'm not even facing the camera.
Yeah, so everyone will know exactly who you are. That's hard.
Yeah. Everyone knows how I look, how I is.
What the hell? Why is it flipped? This is you're like what? You starting a boy band or something? Like,
nah, I'm just thinking about life, man, and why is things like normal and stuff.
But why are Terrans making ghosts?
They suddenly changed ghosts, and now everyone wants to make ghosts, but they're still crap.
All right. We'll see if we can find another game here. I'm gutted to see Lero get knocked out because last one that I casted, Lero actually got to, I think it was the quarters at least, but it was knocked out by Bio Ice in a really clutch game. That was One hell of a series.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Lero should have been one of the guys to take it all the way to the end, really. I don't really... When I look at the other names in the bracket, the ones that stand out, like Game Time, Siegfried, Kozan, Maples, right? And then you'd see Lero and you're like, oh yeah, Future. You're like, hell yeah, he should be up there in the, in the 4th round. But, yeah, bit unfortunate that he got knocked out so early here.
Yeah, it really
He
is.
does go to the loser bracket, though.
Oh.
Does he not?
Yeah, he does. He does. Yeah, you're right. There is a loser bracket. He's got another chance. I'm sure.
Dude, you've had all this time to prepare. I've had like 3 seconds, and I'm like, yeah, there's a loser bracket. And you're like, oh, what? I'm sorry, what?
I was too busy counting all the hand job coupons, but
Do you have them on you?
yeah, I keep them in my back pocket just in case. If anyone asks, "Are you busy this weekend?" I'm like, "Nah, man." I just show them my stack of coupons.
Wait, nah, man. You mean yeah, man? I'm super busy this weekend. It's like 3 days worth here. I'm gonna fit in 3 days worth of handies in 2.
Yeah, man. I just see that Tinder picture of yours. I'm just like, oh.
Why is the Tinder picture upside down?
Okay, fine. Reasons. Because the last person who I got the image off as Passer, it was his, but his image was upside down and like the wrong size. And just like, wait.
Okay, I see.
It's just life, right?
And now it's looking the other way. That's okay though. No one will know that it's mirrored except for me because I know how the photo actually looks. I don't have to write fan fiction; it writes itself. I mean, that's how we do, man.
Yeah, man. I got bored of all the sheep.
Meh. What was it? How do you get a sheep to push back?
How?
You fuck them on the edge of a cliff. It's not so much of a joke; it's more of tips.
Just the tip.
Just the tip. Well, I mean, it's a sheep. You can just go full. Anyway, are we looking at a new game or?
Yeah. So we'll jump into Eon's next series because why not?
It's fantastic.
Eon versus
we can
Yuko.
follow them all the way through. I mean, I'm also keen in seeing at least a couple of the Future games because I think Future would probably. Oh, is Winter in this as well? Cyclone's Winter.
Yo. Yeah.
He's at the bottom there. So yeah, we're gonna have an interesting 5th round for sure, at least.
Yeah.
I think the 4th round's gonna be pretty decent as well. If we get game time's gonna be pretty late to it. He's only just gonna start his matchup now.
But yeah, no, you're right. Definitely want to grab Future, Winter, Game Time. Just want to get a gaze at all of those matchups because all those games, fantastic players.
Yeah, I mean, what matchup are you looking forward to the most to watch? I kind of want to see more Zoe versus Terran. I just don't know where it's going right now, especially with that Hydra nerf. I feel like Zoe versus Protoss is looking very odd.
Yeah.
To say the least. Protoss is winning a lot, and Zerg players are like, oh, I'm just going to make Hydras anyway, and then they just die. So, oh, okay.
Blizzard nerfs Hydras and like, what have we done? They're still winning.
Like Ravager Ling Bane now, like back in the day, if you remember, on like Frozen Temple and stuff.
Yep. Snoot, really popular with that style.
But these maps just aren't really good for it as of right now.
No. And you know,
like Turtle 3 base Broodlord or something silly.
I just feel like Lingbane Hydra is just all around better than Roach Ravager, and it's nice having a bit more anti-air, and it's got a bit more DPS. And I remember last time we were talking about Zook versus Protoss, we are talking about how it's such an explosive matchup. Like it's so one-sided. It's so just his Banelings blew up my entire army, I lose, or his Oracles murdered my entire mineral line, I lose. Like it's so just swings one direction all the way to the other way.
Is that in one direction or two?
Well, it goes from one direction, you know, but in and out, you know, the old in and out. I'm sure you know a thing or two about that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple coupons.
Spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner, Representing Rival Gaming, it is the Purple Zerg Eon.
Yeah, we've been following him. We watched the previous match of him against Lero, able to 2-1 him. His opponent, this time a Zerg player on Backwater. It is Revolution Gaming's Uko. You have to pronounce it that way and make a little bit of an accent. Uko, Uko.
Yeah, I would
Because,
totally.
he's obviously Japanese. He's Japanese. Sure.
I'm glad you pointed that out because I would totally just be like, "It's Yuko, mate."
Oh, it's Uko. Ah, oh, damn. Uko.
Oh, cheer, bro.
Okay, so Eon going for that weird 16 hatchery that he keeps doing. Similar to Starkiller's one, if you guys have been watching Starkiller, and Uko going for the same hatchery. Sorry, I'm stuttering. It's at the exact same time. Like, I don't know what the big difference is, but there's apparently something enough for Eon to be like, this is what I'm doing.
I swear Starkiller's version gets the pull out slightly faster.
Yeah, so he doesn't get the Overlord, whereas Eon just does double extractor trick with an Overlord behind it, and then it gets a hatchery. And all it does is it puts him, like, behind one drone.
10 out of 10.
From what I can see, yeah. And Uko going for... This is a build that was very popular on maps like Proxima Station. You get this third hatchery, and just go gasless and wall off the front. On a map like this, I feel it could work, but on Proxima Station, it was much harder to drop. There was only a few places where you can really ling drop, and here there's way too many in the main, even across the natural if you really wanted to, in the third base. And yeah, I mean, if Eon's able to read this early enough and commit to something like that, I'm worried for Uko.
Yeah. I tend to prefer, like, if you are going to do gasless on this map, I tend to prefer going for like a 12 pull opener, just so you can get that, you put a bit of pressure on, and you can also get a really fast queen, because that, I think walling off on this map is really important to push your creep out as quickly and as fast as possible, and then you can wall off, then take a third base behind it while staying almost completely gasless.
Eon, on the other hand, going very, very safe. He's gone for the Baneling Nest. He's not getting the third base yet either. He's still droning. So this is actually best case scenario for Uko. There's not a lot of pressure coming his way, or even attempt to come his way. That third hatchery is so late, he's not even going to have that larva advantage. He's going to have so many queens by the time an attack comes. I think he's going to be alright for the time being, especially if he walls that off very soon.
Sometimes what you can do in this scenario, obviously he hasn't gone speed, but sometimes you can get the fast third base literally just for the larvae and just like flood lings. And it's really scary.
Like a Micah build.
Yeah. And it's real scary because while you're defending against a player like that, you know that he has that third base that he can drone up behind it. And it's quite a worrying style to face. Whoa!
I don't know what is happening here for Uko. He's like, fine, what, Sport, wrote, Warren, oh, fuck. You got it in the end, but,
hatchery?
Yeah, Eon, kind of not that far behind in drones. He will be soon. Getting the gases as well as that third base. He might, no, I'm not sure. He's kind of playing this oddly. He's getting that second gas, but he's only just now adding on the evolution chamber, which you want to get very quickly. This is, yeah, I feel like Uko's position is going to be absolutely fantastic from here on out.
Do you think that Eon could go for something like a slow roach drop? And maybe drop, like, a slow roach timing with maybe dropping some roaches in the main, some lings into the third base, and just kind of wreak havoc?
That's what I thought he was going to do with this early roach warren, but he was still droning behind it, and now he's getting +1 attack in a lair. So he's already invested a lot into the mid to late game of this match, and Uko's kind of invested more into the mid to late game. So if he was to go for it now, it'll be too late, and Uko's already kind of harvested enough from this third base, so to speak, that I think he's going to be just fine. But biggest thing right now is that Uko is actually behind on the upgrades, so maybe that might turn into something, but with superior drone counts, I'm not sure it will.
Yeah, often the counter to better upgrades is literally just having more stuff. And if you have been as aggressively greedy as Yuko has been, getting more stuff won't be too hard.
I mean, he's about to stop droning, whereas Eon's only just made it to the 50 drone mark just now, so he hasn't built anything apart from these 2 Zerglings. And a roach production has already started here for Eon. So this is actually so good for Ook. I don't. He's just gonna have twice as many roaches. What is Eon gonna do against that? He just needs to take like the fantastic position and get all the biles to land on the big army.
I think this might have been a really big misread by Eon with how greedy Yuko has been. Because, I mean, if he just done anything like a slow roach timing, a nidus timing, even mutas, and, you know, anything to just kind of punish this greed. And you can see that Yuko has kind of prepared for this. He's like, look at his main base. He's spread that creep for vision. He's got vision all over his base. Like, you're not nidusing him.
Lord. My god, now he's also getting, like, just roaches and getting that 4th base faster than you get it, even in Zerglus' Protoss at times. And Eon's going for that Hydra Den because he's scouted 6 gases. Like, this is... Oh my god, their composition for Uko is just going to be nothing but Roach Ravager. He's just going to completely overwhelm Eon, I feel. He's already up 30 supply.
Yeah. And sometimes Zerg vs. Zerg is a raw numbers game, especially if you've been as greedy and macro focused as Yuko has been. Like there's definitely an inherent risk to it, but the reward is just I'm going to slap you with the raw roach counts, which I'm sure you know a thing or two about.
He's about to throw this Roach Ravager dick right into Eon's face. Eon does not have the proper protection in place. He's left his condoms at home, and now suddenly he's just jumping right on in here, killing the 4th base. He doesn't even need to really commit. He can just back off and make some more Ravages. But no, he's feeling confident enough. He saw how small the army was for Eon. Even with the defender's advantage, this is going to be a scary little timing if he commits.
I suppose the annoying thing here as well is not only is he down kind of in economy, but he's also forced to make units now to defend against a player who can just continue pumping out more and more units.
Yeah, he's again Eon committing to like a lower drone count ever so slightly, and he's got all these upgrades like Hydras, Hydra range speed, Overlord speed and everything, and Uko just comes in and he's like, yeah, I just got roaches and ravagers, and I'm just getting more 2-2, and I'm just gonna bum rush right up onto your production and kill you. And it looks like that's exactly what's gonna happen here. The fantastic fire link for Uko puts out a little bit more damage. He's had more ravagers as well, but that extra little bit of DPS. The Hydra's now coming out from angles that can't be protected with roaches, and Eon starting to lose absolutely everything here in the natural.
Yeah, you're right. This raw roach style is a bit too much, and he's even using the biles to cancel the eggs, and that means that there's going to be no reinforcements. 20 workers have died, and that should be the beginning of the end here for Eon. I think he's probably just processing the loss, and GG will be called. Uko going to take a very nice game number 1 there.
Very kind of worked out exactly how he probably planned it there. Nothing really went wrong. He just kind of sat back, made a huge Roach Ravager army and attacked, and Eon trying to figure out what kind of shenanigans was going to happen the entire time, and it just turned out to be completely standard, right? Just a little bit greedier in terms of the opening, but just mass Roach Ravager and attack, right? That's ZVZ in a nutshell right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's kind of funny, like, oftentimes ZVZ favors the more straight up player, more so than the fancy, like, oh, I got some lings over there, I got these upgrades over here, and just, well, I just got more roaches is usually the best answer.
And, I mean, that was just kind of like, I've had, 10 to 15 drone lead practically this entire game. I didn't invest into Hydras, I didn't invest into Zergling speed, I'm taking a 4th base faster than you. Like, he had absolutely no worries, and he just kind of steamrolled across.
Yeah. But we should be jumping into game number 2 very shortly. I wonder if Eon maybe took a moment just to look at the replay. Maybe a little bit confused as to what happened there. Because
I mean, if he didn't realize how greedy that 3rd base was, that would be a very confusing loss for him right there.
Yeah.
Like, I went greedy, like really greedy. I got the 3rd base and I didn't make any lings and what? And I mean, I think he did see with the lings that the 3rd base was quick. He was probably looking at like how long the build was gasless for, and if there's any vulnerabilities if Uko does it again. But I feel like it's a backwater specific build, that one.
Yeah. Exactly. It's quite a cool map actually. I've seen a few different like build order specific maps. Like for example, there was one player earlier today in the team league, by the name of Hilton, who kind of like he put his barracks and factory like behind the bush where the third base is, and it kind of throws their opponent off because they go into the main base and they're like, "Where's your stuff? You're proxying me. I see 2 gases." And all of a sudden, like it's just standard play, which it's cool that maps can change up, have specific builds like that, because I think it really encourages players to be a bit more creative rather than just doing the same old over and over.
Just noticed that you unmirrored my photo. That's awesome.
You're welcome. Anytime. Cost you 2 coupons though. Spawning in the top left-hand corner as the purple Zerg, representing Rival Gaming, it is Eon.
And his opponent, this time on Catalyst, will he do a gasless opening again? It's possible on this one. It is Revolution Gaming Zuko. This map, Catalyst, having a fairly short rush distance, you can kind of wall off the natural and go for fast roaches. I think I do that on this map from time to time.
Yeah, is certainly a good player. I think Cyril, Scarlet, sometimes yeah, some of those kind of players, they love to just pull a few queens, walk them across the map with some roaches, and try to punish players even trying to go for their own roaches, but with +1/+1 upgrades. It's a risky strategy, but it does have a good win rate.
There we go. So this time Eon is doing the Star Killer-ish build. Like this one makes a little bit more sense, in a way. Like he's at least getting the hatchery a little bit quicker and the pool and the gas a little bit quicker. Uko on the opposite side went for the pool gas opening first, so he's feeling, you know, like an early pool could be coming his way. And with how Eon's actually kind of opened up, this could be like a very fast, like awkward speedling attack, but it's usually done by like 14, 14, 14? I mean, it's pretty close to it. It could still be something, but with how safe Uko's going, and I'm not sure it's going to work out.
Yeah. You do mean Eon in this case?
Yeah, Eon's going for the 14, 14, 14,
Oh, is
but
he?
Uko's gone for the very fast pull gas. So
Yeah.
both kind of opened up with the ability to go fast Zergling speed, so there might be a lot of skirmishes in the middle of the map, but I think Uko's opened up more for like a standard play.
Who do you think you favor going into Ling Bane wars here between these two players?
I have no idea. Eon's probably more used to going mass Ling Bane because he's a bit more aggressive. From what I've seen of Uko, like which is last game, he's good with roaches. So I have no idea about his skill level with Ling Bane, but Revolution Gaming's not, you know, a pushover team, right? Now neither is Rival to say anything, but it's a smaller group of people, so I'm assuming the skill levels probably has to be pretty high to get in there.
Yeah. And what tends to happen with the smaller groups is they tend to do a lot of in-house practice. And you start to see very similar styles amongst people in the same team. Like, what springs to mind would be like SYF, like a lot of their Zergs quite aggressive, quite timing orientated. In fact, a lot of their players in general. Or like...
And this time it looks like Uko is going to be the one going for the Ling Bane, whereas Eon going for like a... It's not the 25 drone roach Ling, he's just going roaches after droning. So this is a timing that Uko can probably just abuse. He's going to come in here and not scout the roach warren, but assume that it's probably going to be roaches, I guess. But there is an opportunity for him to do a little bit of damage with how late the Lings are here for Eon.
Yeah, they're extraordinarily late. But Eon does have the Baneling Mist, so I think maybe a Roach Bane timing could be really lethal against a player trying to go Ling Bane.
Yeah, off of one gas is a little bit dicey though. You want to generally do that off of 2 gases. The Ling's coming in here, get the Queen, get the Baneling that's morphing as well. The Ling numbers still in favor of Uko for the time being. And even though Eon clears this up, right, he's down in drones now and he's forced to make roaches of all things and do some sort of a counterattack timing where Ling Bane, you know, you can keep constantly counterattacking utilize the speed and mobility of the Zerglings to actually backstab and do damage that way.
Yeah, it kind of creates a scenario where if you ever leave your base, you're just going to take so much damage at home to those, yeah, as you said, like really fast counterattacks. So it is a worrying style, but I guess if you can leave a few banelings at home, maybe put up a spine crawler, have a bit of static defense, that can sometimes help. But we'll have to see how Uko decides to respond to seeing this big roach move out. It looks like he's just going to drop a few spines.
Yeah, he's probably just gonna like try to get the lane count a little bit lower of Eon before the timing gets here. Because there's no third base for Eon, he can just sack his third hatch, which is exactly what he's doing right now, and maybe get his own roaches up right now as his Warren's finished. Wait for that spine to come up, but he's not making any roaches. There's the 2. But now he's really trying to save the 3rd. I think this might be a game that Eon can win for sure here, as the Lings start getting killed off by the banelings have been brought along. The link count's very low for Uko. He's going to be really reliant on this spine crawler and the roaches coming out.
This is so much banelings for Eon, and the roaches just don't die. They stay alive for so long. They have that sustain power that Ling Bane really doesn't have. And Uko trying to add his own roaches in, but it's only just now hitting, and the third base already under a lot of pressure.
I mean, the third base not quite there. There's a decent amount of banelings that's just going to one-shot that spine crawler. The roach count's starting to look a little bit scary here for Uko as well. His control with the Lings very, very good right now. He's mucked it up a little bit earlier, but the roach count's plummeting now for Eon. He's got absolutely no transition behind this. He's put down that third hatchery as almost like a, oh, I've won the game kind of thing. But Uko still has his third hatchery. He's got the Lyra to make more Lings. His roach count's absolutely ridiculous. He's up to 2 gases as well. And Eon not able to really make a standing army back at home. For the time being, there's no spine crawlers. He's banked up a lot of minerals, and I don't know how he's going to defend this counter.
No, yes, that fight looked a lot better than it actually was for Eon, and he lost so much of his army supply. Like, the worker count is, I mean, Uko just droned like a maniac behind this, but it was really similar for such a long time, and not getting that third base, I think Uko's in a prime position to take this game.
Yeah, he's even get that +1 attack in case that doesn't work out. Like you said, he's been droning behind it as well, so it's not really that committed of an attack. He's just trying to see what he can get done, and he's like, oh crap, I think I could just win right here. Very impressed with Uko's play this game. Able to at least clean up a lot of the roaches of Eon. I think Eon will be able to hold eventually. There was no real reinforcements behind this, but the damage has been done. Uko's on 51 drones, and Eon's on 34. They both have 3 hatcheries each, but Uko's in a prime position to hold a potential counterattack if it comes.
Yeah, there was 22 Zerglings in the production tag for Eon, so he's not trying to mecha out of this at all. He's going to try and kill his opponent. But Uko knows. He knows that there's going to be a counterattack, so he's just been making a lot of roaches of his own. But he was droning in between that, so he's got the better economy, and now all he has to do is defend, and it'd be a fantastic position. But this hatchery is really low health.
Yeah, if Eon really commits to this, he's going to lose all these Zerglings, however, so I don't think he's just going to right-click on the hatchery, but it doesn't mean he's not going to be able to get too much done anywhere. The roach is so slow on the map, but Uko's able to utilize them in a way to cover all the angles.
Yeah, the only real way to punish this with Lings is to really overwhelm them, and even then, that's quite hard when there's banelings in the mix. So I think no matter how you dice this, Eon is in a position that's going to be very difficult to recover from. But I mean, he still has a majority of his work count, he still has a third base, and he is still working up towards his tech. So he's not out of this yet, but it's definitely, he's going to have to make some really good plays if he wants to stabilize the game.
The third base pretty much being fully saturated now for Uko, and a fourth base on the way towards Eon, struggling to even saturate his third base minerals. I mean, this is going to lead to a similar situation to game number 1, where Uko's just going to have more stuff, right? And with that +1 attack already done, all the Lings that Eon tries to make to defend this are just going to be absolutely worthless. The roach count's already super high for Uko as he makes his way across the map. More roaches coming out for Eon to try and utilize defender's advantage, but I mean, that's kind of what he wanted. Uko now turning around.
Yeah, in some ways, like, he doesn't even need to attack. Like, it's going to almost indirect damage just by moving out on the map.
Looks like he's going to wait for that roach speed and +2 attack. I mean, he's not making nothing but roaches at home, right? Like, he knows he's going to have more roaches. He saw the upgrades on the roaches of Eon. sees that +2 attack is not done, nor was +1 attack done at the time. So he's like, okay, I'm ahead in upgrades. I'm just gonna step back. I'm gonna max out, and I'm just gonna have more upgraded roaches when I come back.
And that whole time, just setting up 6 workers, you know, that essentially that means he can produce an extra kind of 3 roaches every minute. With how much that kind of brings in terms of resources. And if your opponent's making 3 more roaches than you every minute, eventually it's just going to get to a point where, micro aside, they will just be able to overwhelm you.
Roach is already coming out. He's made 6 Ravagers because he's able to take those gases at his third so early. And he's just going to dive right on here. He doesn't even care about +2 attack. He's hitting this even early. He's just waiting for Roach speed to kick in. And now this is looking like a good fight for Uko. This is as good as Eon could have gotten, but it's not good enough, it seems.
Yeah, even eating his own biles there is Uko, so confident in his ability to take this game, now using those biles to cancel the eggs that will slow down the production of Eon. And with this, even with Defender's advantage, Uko looking primed and ready to take game mode 2 and advance further into this bracket.
Yeah, Eon's starting to utilize his drones the best as he can. The reinforcements are a little bit late here for Uko, but as the drones go down, so does his income, so does his own income. And I mean, it looks like Eon might be able to hold this by the skin of his teeth. Looking very close, but the damage has already technically been done. He's down to 48 drones. The 4th base is down for him, but he's now down a full upgrade. There's still more Ravagers morphing here. He's trying to morph his own, and the reinforcements are still streaming in.
Yeah, even using the biles to cancel the Ravagers. Yes, he gets a little bit of the money back, but then you have to also take into account he's losing a roach whenever that happens for free. So the reinforcements here out of Uko, he has just not stopped making roaches. There's no reason for him to make workers when he's already so far ahead. And now with the upgrades starting to kick in, Uko with not only stronger roaches, but with more. And that is, it's a checkmate move, really.
Yeah, I mean, if you have 3 queens and your opponent has none, that's pretty tough to win a chess game. And Uko takes the series 2-0, so Eon able to defeat Lero, his ZVZ not up to scratch though to take out his opponent. Uko, very well played.
Yeah, but Eon is knocked out, isn't completely knocked out yet. He will go into the losers bracket, so he will have a chance to fight his way back, as will Lero. So be cool to see them bounce back. Be curious to keep an eye on the losers bracket just to see what's happening. But we'll go ahead and see if we can find our next game.
Could get Caleb versus Rays if they're in the chat. They just went off. Future's in the game. Maple's actually going down to Cicada. Wait, is that actually how you spell cicada? I think it is. Cicada. Cicada. It's a cicada. It sounds like an alcoholic beverage.
Cicada, mate.
That now that just sounds not.
Future of Tyrant still facing Rengen. So how are you doing, Voj? How's life?
I'm absolutely soaked right now. Not because it's hot, but because it's 25 degrees and it's pouring outside. It is actually 100% humidity. I can barely breathe. There's no air. I keep turning on the fan and then I see my microphone turn on. But it's actually ridiculous.
I can just picture you not even sitting in the chair, you're just kind of swimming around.
I may as well just pull the headphones a little bit, just lie on the bed, set the StarCraft to be on your camera, just, air out. I can't. I'm sticking to every surface. It's gross, man. It's really gross.
So glad I'm still not in Auckland.
apparently gonna keep going like this on Tuesday, so it's gonna be a couple of weird days. It's definitely not how it's like in the photo, where it's like clear skies, sun, as hell.
Yeah, that's a rare occurrence.
I don't think, you know, sweaty ballsack really wet.
Oh, please.
Kind of
Whoa. You had me at sweaty ballsack.
Ah, okay.
Oh, Yoza! We got future.
Oh, sorted.
Awesome. Saw him in a lobby and was like, whoa! Wait! So we should get you in here. Rengen, I don't believe I've seen any of his games, so I'm curious to see.
Oh, Cicada is Volts, so no wonder.
Ah. People keep changing their names.
So, it is Rengen versus Future. I think this might be their second game, or is it their first game?
Probably should have asked that first.
Damn it, I typoed.
Alright, cool, it's their first game. Sweet. Unless he was...
said cool casters are ready, and I'm like, the ugly caster and Anzi's ready too.
No man, we're the cool kids club. We don't actually play the game, jeez.
What? We don't? Oh fuck. I mean, yeah, totally. We don't. I have no idea what
Now, last time I tried, I got platinum on EU. I'm like amazing at this game. Speaking of amazing, speaking of amazing, spawning in the bottom right hand corner, the new up and coming star. It is the Red Terran Future.
Longer run rival. Apparently teamless. If you want to pick him up, nab him. And the top left hand corner, representing the Democratic Republic of Korea. Apparently, I don't know what that acronym stands for. It is the yellow Protoss Rengen. We'll now go and have a good look-see at who he's representing for real, because I don't think it's going to be the greatest Korea. It is someone else for sure.
Well, a Korea is about to get guys with jetpacks murdering their miners, so just like in real life. I think the moment that you have jetpack warfare, that's where things kind of get out of hand. But this
can't be Reaper, right? Is it Reaper, really? No, it's
yeah, look, the location of it. It has to be Reaper. I think he's already queued it into the mineral line. But this isn't.
He's got 2 gases though, so it's gonna be factory.
Yeah,
so
it's gonna be a factory behind this.
Or
No, this is. It could just build a factory in the main base. Like it literally just could be to try and snipe a few probes before there's defense for it. Because often what happens in Terran versus Protoss is that the Protoss have it timed out where they get the Adept or Stalker literally as the Reaper gets into their base, so it doesn't really accomplish too much. But by building it very close to the base like this, he's only going to have a Zealot, and that's after Rengen did a scout of Future's base and found out that there was no barracks in his main base. But
even lifts the barracks, fakes it, lands again. He's gonna put a tech lab there. I think this could be like a Marauder follow-up with the Banshee afterwards. So, yeah, you get this Reaper out, forces out a Stalker, get a Marauder with Concussive Cell to counter the Stalker, and then they stop making Stalkers, and then you make a Banshee. Perfect planning. This is some absolutely crazy stuff. He's actually making a Cyclone as well. This is so much gas. No wonder he took the gases so early.
Are you trying to think about what Future might do in the future?
No, he's doing it right now, man.
Nah, mate, you're dreaming. Well, you might be right here. There's that concussive shell, the Cyclone on the way. This could be a really tough timing to deal with. There is a robot facility down, so mortals will be in play, and shield battery going down for Rengen as well. He's really respecting what Future can do.
Yeah, he's kind of been scouting the base of Future as well. He's like, oh, there's absolutely nothing here. So there's all of your buildings like somewhere on the map, and I just can't be bothered finding them. So here come 2 Marauders. This is super scary, because if the Marauders get at least 1 concussive shell on to one of these stalkers. They cannot escape the Cyclone any longer, and they're trying to focus fire that Cyclone as fast as they can. The shield battery finally coming up. The Cyclone goes down as well, but the second Cyclone already here, coming on the way to reinforce this push. The shield battery is already out of energy. Oh my lord. Cyclone's coming out. The Immortal is so close to finishing, but will it even do anything by the time it's out?
Yeah,
like
look.
Everything's gonna be dead by then.
Everything is dead, Bojan.
Oh my god, the pylon. Oh no.
Artosis, no!
Oh, crap. The Cyclone going to town. The Marauder's just running away, kiting as best as he can. He's
this is playing tag.
Fire the next one down as well. He's not. I think he's gonna get it actually. Oh my god. Oh no.
Protoss.
Future, the micro god.
Protoss viewers at home, please avert your eyes.
And another Cyclone's coming as well. The one Zealot's doing his best.
That one shield battery just like tapping him with a bit more shield and it's like, here, there. It'll all be over soon.
He does, I mean, there's too much to say about how the micro's been going. Future's getting the better end of practically every single fight here. This Immortal, though, practically counters every single unit that Future can make. So
yeah.
Able to clean it up eventually.
So that will be the end of that. But Stim, just about to finish 2 more barracks and at home.
This one Marine, he's trying. I'm gonna find that Immortal. I'm gonna kill him.
I don't know where you are, but I'm gonna find you.
Technically counter Immortals on paper.
Oh! Double KO.
So ridiculous. There's like 4 SCVs pulled off the line. This probe has been like killing an SCV as well. Like, there's been micro happening on all sides of the map. It's just so hard to follow. But Future is not going to transition to some sort of a mech push. He's just going to go straight back into bio, as you said. He's already got that eBay down, plus when attacks on the way, he's getting combat shields, and he's starting to, get his infrastructure underway as well. Whereas there's not even a natural base for Engine.
No, he's in a really tough position here, and he's going to try and play into a macro game, but I'm not sure he realizes, or maybe he does realize that he's in a really tough position here. He's seen the expansion for Future. He's also gone into the main base and see the production facilities. He also knows that there's buildings out on the map, so once Future has like 1 or 2 production cycles, then Rengen might just find himself in a position where he can't defend with, what, a Sentry, a Stalker, and a Model. These are like super best friends of Protoss.
And the other best friends of Protoss is a lot of probes, which he currently does not have. Not a lot of pylons either. D9 will be very disappointed right now about Future really stopping his Protoss opponent from really doing anything, right? He stunted his growth by so much. Forced him onto one base, forced him into a robo. There's no Stargate, there's no Blink Stalkers. This is just such a tough spot.
Yeah, if there was something like Blink Stalkers, then maybe there's a chance for Rengen to micro his way out of this position. But, I mean, it's just kind of hard to micro with an Immortal, a Sentry, and a Stalker, right? Alright, we have the shield battery on the low ground, but it does get the cancel.
Cancelled. The Immortal goes down. That is so hard to... Perfect control here. There is one shield battery, which is probably going to hold this off.
The Immortal Sentry is it's like an anime where he's like, my friend may have died, but I will learn what he taught me. Well,
and the medevac gets away as well. Like, a little bit of miss micro there against the sentries, but like he still gets both of them, so it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But now Future doubling the supply of his opponent. Rengen just comes in, is like, what is in your base? Oh my god, you've got a fully saturated naturals. GG. I'm out of here.
Yep. So Future gonna take game number 1. Not too surprised really. I mean, Future is a really good player right now. I mean, wasn't he trying to qualify for the WCS, but he was too young or something like that?
Yeah, so I'd argue that Future's probably one of the best Terrans in North America right now. I'd probably make that argument, especially with his control. I know for a fact that he plays a buttload of like micro arcade games. He loves the what's it, micro tournament?
Oh yeah. Those are really good for Terran as well. I did the Zerg ones, and I'm just like, Oh, just transfuse your queens.
Or worse,
Yay!
concave A move.
Concave A move.
Oh wow, it worked.
Who
This
knew?
pops some infested Terrans. Oh wait, the infested Terrans like cause the tanks to splash around my Zerglings, and now I take more damage. Okay, A move the infestors. Fuck it.
They're always so impractical. It's like, you have borrowed infestors, drop one infested marine around the siege tanks. It's like, that's never gonna happen, man. Come on.
Do you remember the old challenge ones back in Wings of Liberty? Did you play those?
I think so.
So
Maybe...
there's like challenge scenarios or whatever, and it's like, all right, you must utilize these infested Terrans to neuroparasite and fungal
Oh,
Terran
yeah.
units and destroy the base. And there was this, it hasn't been patched, right? So it's still the old Wings of Liberty Infester, and this is the old Wings of Liberty Beta Infester, which is if you burrow and press the neuroparasite button at the same time, you can, well, you can do it now, right? You can neuroparasite while burrowed, but you can do it in that thing as well. So you can just burrow neuroparasite tanks, and the tanks wouldn't shoot your infestors and just kill everything.
Yo.
And it would last, I think it lasts forever on that scenario as well.
What? Nah, see, that's what Zerg needs. I think that would really balance out the matchups.
I mean, we currently do have it, right? We have
Yeah.
burrowed neural.
But not permanent. Come on, like, gotta think bigger. Alright, guys.
It's just like possession in Warcraft 3. You just take control of the unit. Yep, that's mine now. There was an old Heart of the Swarm alpha unit they were thinking about called the Replicator, which cost a buttload, and it would just replicate a unit that was on the battlefield. So you saw a battle cruiser, and you're like, sweet, I got a battle cruiser now, but I had no upgrades. Yeah.
Still pretty cool, though. But here we are, jumping into game number 2, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. One of NA's finest, it is the Red Terran Future.
His opponent getting bent over the kitchen table in game number 1. Here he is as the green Protoss. Can he make a comeback in this series? It is Renjin.
Of course, representing the Democratic North Korea. What did you say it was?
I guess Democratic North Korean
Doesn't...
People's Republic would make sense.
It would, but...
I just kind of skipped the N because I was like, whatever. It's like... Whatever, it doesn't fit my joke at all. But Renjin, this time scouting with his probe again. Gonna scout if there's any proxy shenaniganeries once more, but Future decided to go for the more standard gas racks back at home instead of on the opposite side of the map. So we'll see what kind of aggression he goes for. This matchup's kind of been like swinging backwards and forwards, and the entirety of Legacy of the Void, who gets more favored, and it always depends on who can put on the aggression first. If Terran's able to be really aggressive, they end up being a bit more favored. If Protoss is the one putting on aggression, they get very favored as well. So, pro tip, TVP, always attack. Never stop attacking.
Send your SCVs, just go, go, go. No, but I think you're absolutely right there, because there was a big problem in TVP when, after the Stalkers got buffed. I mean, well, buffed in TVP at least, where they did more damage but shoot slower. So they 2-shot Marines. And so what do they do every game? 2-gate Stalk.
They 3-shot Marines, I think.
Oh, it was a 3-shot, yeah. But I mean, it's still ridiculous because they're faster, more health.
They
and
were 5-shot before. You could 5-shot Marines and then went down to 3-shot. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so
and
like...
I think in the current iteration it's 4-shot. So it's a little bit better.
We found the middle mark. But yeah, so it's just kind of Stalker rushes almost every single game into like Oracle. It's like, oh, look, I killed all your Marines with my Stalker. Now what are you going to defend your mineral line with? And yeah, that was kind of that. But, I mean, Terran, there was a good while last year in TVP where they had these ruthless proxy builds. That was just like proxy, barracks, Reaper, into Cyclone, into Liberator, into Siege Tank, Bunker. Like, and it was just like, how do you stop this? Well, you don't, even if you know it's coming.
Yeah, they had to nerf the Liberator, I think, for that one. That was with Tankovex, right?
Yeah. Oh my god. Shudders.
I know. There was this one guy on the North American side. Just so you guys are wondering, this game's kind of opening up a little bit standard. Renjin with a nice little opening. Gonna go for Robo. Now that Dank Shrine Pro, please. um, so Renjin's on Dank Shrine Pro. Future's gonna go for a Widowmine drop, and we see a Robo first out of Renjin. Blink Stalker's not as powerful as they once were. You can't be as aggressive with them, so he is gonna want that Observer out. But in what were we talking about with the Tankovax? There was a guy on the North American ladder who was a barcode, and he was about 5.6, 5.7k MMR, and he was from Korea, I assume, because we always played in Australia, and he didn't speak very good English.
Yeah.
And he would do that build every single game, like without fail, every single game. And it's like, okay, one base Liberator Tankovac, and his Tankovac control was so good, he was unable to, you couldn't hit it with Biles, so you just had to go like mass clean with Overlord speed and like snipe stuff, and then he'd like wouldn't expand, he would just lift his main, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I remember that was what caused a lot of Tyrion all-ins to be ridiculous. Like the Reaper was a bit ridiculous when Bjorn like finally crafted it into a deadly killing machine. But then the fact that he was able to follow that up with Tankovac drops was just like, wow, like come on, that's a bit much.
It never stopped.
Yeah.
So
It was fun seeing Dark.
Future is already coming out with the mine drop. There's already 3 stalkers here. Like this is just gonna come, have a look see, and just, oh, it's actually gonna. Oh, that was close. Good little boost there. Renjin just completely stopped everything. The Reaper at the natural. The Medevac got no damage as well. So Renjin able to go very, very calmly into that Colossi tech.
I feel like when a Protoss can get really fast 3 base, and either they go Colossus or Mass Phoenix or whatever style they want to do, that's when things get to get really scary for the Tyrion player. But scans kills the Observer, so removes a bit more vision of Rengen, and maybe makes the possibility of doing drops later in the game a bit more viable here for Future.
So with that fast robotics facility, even with that one observer getting killed, he still has 2 observers. One just got killed. So there was a lot of vision before. There's slightly less now for Renjin, so he's just feeling really comfortable taking this 3rd base. He's lost no probes. He's able to just keep pumping out units. Colossi, putting down more gateways if he wants to soon as well. A forge, 2 forges if he wants. And it's really on Future now to make his bio army do something. He hasn't committed to a 3rd command center yet. He might do so very soon, but he's got a lot of Widow Mines here. About to get combat shields. He has to go before the Colossi can't get too crazy.
Yeah. Otherwise, you have to get things like Vikings. And the moment you have to get Vikings, then Protoss can respond with either more Stalkers. They can start getting their own Phoenix, and it kind of gets out of control. So I think you're absolutely right there. If you can hit where there's only 1 or 2 Colossus, then you can start focusing them down with your bio. And with the moment you can do that, you can knock the Protoss player out pretty quickly.
I thought you were about to Terran whine on me. It's like, as soon as they get a healthy number of Colossi, Terran just loses.
I'm a Zerg man. I'm like, I can't lose when watching a TVP, right? And like, yay, the one I don't like bit the other one I don't like.
And it depends on which one you don't like more that week.
Yeah. Man, I hate like whenever I see the balance, like, because so at the moment it's no secret that ZVP is Zerg favored. What?
The boys, man. The boys.
Oh, the boys. Oh!
The boys have been pulled.
Oh!
He's got a single Viking. There's only going to be 2 Colossi here. They do shoot faster and they do more damage to light units, so this was way stronger than Heart of the Swarm, but this is a lot of Marauders. He can just jump right on top of these Colossi if he wants to. There's 1 shield battery healing that 1 Colossi. The mines have all been burrowed!
Oh no, the sentries!
Yeah, there's no detection here. He's split up all of his observers absolutely everywhere except where they're needed. And so suddenly, it's not looking that great right now for either player, honestly. All the SVs have gone down, but with the reinforcements of Future and that +1 attack upgrade, he's at least going to be killing this 3rd Nexus, and without any Colossi left over, there's just the 1 in the natural. He's going to have a tough time dealing with this.
I feel like this is a win condition for Tyrion. If they can trade their economy for their opponent's army, usually a Terran wins out in that scenario. You know, they can always. Oh.
Those force fields working. Yeah, this is like very, yeah. Sorry, you can go on, but I feel like Future's about to stomp over into this natural and kill it.
Yeah, no, like what I was essentially saying was, oh, are you alright there? Do you need a moment?
I need a coupon, I think.
Oh my god, even McCanning would be proud.
I mean, there's just more bio units coming across.
Oh, dude. Okay.
That's the one. Future. Oh, with a quick 2-base timing. Let me just get a cigarette real quick.
Yeah. Whew. All right.
Go back to Zerg. I'm a Zerg player.
Sploosh.
But yeah, I think the lack of shield batteries at that natural hurt a little bit. He had just the 0, right? No shield batteries, or just the 1. Maybe at least 2 shield batteries in both bases.
Yeah.
Would have been very, very nice.
Because all of a sudden you can't.
Like, yeah.
All of a sudden you can't just focus fire the Colossus because it just gets.
Yeah. Well, he was trying, right? And then every time he did that and he pulled back to the shield battery, Future just lost a big chunk of his army, like all of a sudden. And the best part about that for Future, though, is his army was so Marauder heavy that the Colossi actually just suck against them now. Like, they're only really good against light units. So for a second there, it looked like he was about to die because his army started looking super small, but practically it was just all the Marines that had gone down. The Marauders were still there and fairly healthy too. The Medivacs healing those in particular, and kind of just worked out. He kept that Marauder count high the whole time, and he was able to seal the deal.
Do you think if it gets to a point where the Marauder count gets really high, that Protoss should maybe drop an additional Robo and just go double Immortal? Like, maybe have like 1 or 2 Colossus, but like just start messing out like Immortals like they do against Zerg.
I mean, we saw that Renjin lost a lot of his vision with his observers. He wasn't able to scout with his Warp Prism either, so Future hid this really, really well. Even when he was moving out, Future was scanning to make sure there wasn't any observers. If you're able to see the composition of this, I think like Disruptors would be a better choice, like the one that we saw there. So you go for 2 Colossi and then go for the Disruptors straight afterwards to just take out the Marauders en masse. If you go for a lot of Immortals, they work very well with shield batteries, but I think it's just if you don't see a 3rd base from Terran, just add on more shield batteries. I think this is really his downfall there. His Colossi kind of went down as soon as those batteries did.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right there, and we might be seeing Disruptors have a bit more of a play. I mean, something that they were talking about, you know, kind of earlier last year or earlier in Legacy of the Void, was like the trifecta of Protoss Splash. So essentially they mix like Storm with Disruptor with Colossus, so they have a little bit of each splash.
And Archons.
And Archons, yeah. And it becomes this kind of, how do you really counter this? Because if you get Vikings, yes, you take out the Colossus, but now you have all these Vikings that are useless against Storm and Disruptors and Archons. And if you try to get like Ghosts, yes, you can counter the Templar by MPing them, but now you got Colossus and Disruptors to worry about. So it's like, it's a real tough one to deal with, and I wonder if that's something we might see again. But so far, it's just been more of a high Colossus count out of Protoss.
Yeah, the Colossi being buffed in a weird way kind of worked out for them. I'm not sure why players aren't going for the quick Templar that we were seeing for a little bit there, like really heavy Immortals with Stalkers. I feel maybe they've kind of gone back a little bit too far with the Stalker nerf, as in not Blizzard, but Protoss players in general, where they've gone like full Stalkers to like kind of control the map, deny a lot of the drops, deny a lot of the damage, and we saw the Stalkers able to do that earlier on. And then if you're able to just get that decent Immortal count as well, the Marauders don't really do that much of a big deal. I'm just really unsure with the meta right now, and I think it still hasn't fully settled.
No, it's an interesting time for StarCraft. I think with the current patches, you know, it can really go either way. But yeah, we're going to jump into this next series here, and it's going to be Future versus Gens. Now, I believe I've seen some of Gens games in the past, but I mean, just Come on, like you and me both probably know that we cast so many different players. Sometimes it can get hard to keep track of different play styles, but it should be a good one. Jen says, you know, we're heading into the quarterfinals, semifinals, I think.
Yeah, this is a semi-final, quarterfinal.
Yeah,
I
quarterfinal.
think. Kind of. It doesn't quite work out that way, but this is, in the scheme of things, this is a quarterfinal. Yes. So it's gonna be a Terran versus Terran. That means I get to put my feet up and just not do anything for like 5 minutes, right?
Pretty
or
much.
the game's over in 5 minutes. It's either or. There's no middle ground.
No, there's no middle game. There's no mid game. There's just It's like, he's got siege tanks.
Small, like single units and stuff, and then the first siege tank comes out, and everyone's like, "All right, let's back the fuck up. Let's go back home. Let's get 4 bases and like a constant stream of cyclones and tanks, or like because mech is a thing right now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Or marine tank marauder. You just keep making nothing but tanks really on both sides, and then you just keep clashing for the next 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
I did see Seoul earlier today versus Hilton. So Hilton was playing mech. Probably not quite on the same level as Seoul, but it was interesting seeing Seoul pick him apart with Bio and just kind of hit him from all different directions, and then eventually just doom drop him to death. So it's cool that Bio can be an option, but I wonder if at the highest levels of Terran, if mech is just the way to go.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking that mech is gonna be really. I think the change of the Cyclone actually changes matchup more than everyone has realized. The biggest reason why people weren't massing Cyclones earlier on when you're opening up as mech is because the Cyclones weren't able to deal with Liberators or Banshees. So like a Liberator would just set up in your mining line, and then you pull the SCVs off, you lose 2 SCVs, and the Cyclone just shoots at it, has to lock on again, and then shoots at it, and you've lost all that mining time. It's always cost efficient.
Yeah, it's been a really good change for the matchup. But introducing our players, spawning in the bottom right hand corner as the Red Terran, it is Future.
And his opponent, representing Dust Gaming, he's about to get cheesed, maybe out, or just cheesed. It's Jens in the blue trunks. And we're gonna see how he's gonna deal with this. This might actually just be like triple barracks without gas, like no Reaper. Oh no, there's the gas. So this is gonna be like double ranks Reaper. Fairly old build. People are opening up Cyclone, so this isn't like a game-ending move, but it allows you, if that first Reaper goes down, 4 gens, you can kind of just walk across and kill him.
Funny enough, Jens is actually sending his SUV on a scouting pattern to look for proxies, but Future has actually put it in a really weird place. He's put it in a place that you don't usually expect for proxy racks, so I wonder if this is like a meta game specifically against Gen?
I think it's just an awkward spot for you to proxy Reapers in general, right? Because it comes through the natural, and Jens is not even going to look for it at all, but he will eventually come into the main. So I'm not sure if the metagame is planned specifically by Future, because the amount he's gaining really is just the fact that Jens doesn't really know what kind of a proxy it is.
Yeah, so Jens comes in now, sees that there's no barracks or wall off, sees the double gas, and he should know exactly what's up. So he does drop that bunker now, and he should be keeping his... Oh, 2, you're right.
3 bunkers.
Oh my god.
Oh lord, this is... I think the fact, because he didn't go for gas first, he doesn't have that factory down as fast as he can. He's already gone for that Reaper. And if there's 2 Reapers here and that first one dies, like I said, it will snowball. And the first SCV does go down. He's got to get that first hit with the Reaper, and he does get it. The SCV goes down as well. He's trying to just secure this bunker. And if he's able to do that, he will be able to at least transition into something. But behind this Future, still able to, get down a factory himself. He hasn't cut too many SCVs. And wow, Jens actually just holds this off. He's lost only 1 SCV, I think, if that. And he's getting a factory a little bit quicker, so this is definitely a good little spot for him.
Ooh, nice pickup there.
A nice little Reaper.
The funny thing is, if Future just drops a command center right now, he might actually be ahead. I mean, there's 300 minerals that... So he can't build, Jens can't build a command center, or well, he can now, but he would have been able to, like, a minute ago. if he didn't build these
Yeah, but he
bunkers.
still got it earlier, right? Like, he doesn't really care. And by the way, these bunker banks have interest, right? So he gets more minerals back the longer they are, you know.
He's investing early, really, into the bunker market.
2010.
Oh my
Bunker
god.
bank.
I remember watching the old replays of Destiny, just getting so mad because he got bunker rushed every single game, and he's like, "What's?"
So back in the day, barracks used to build faster, and bunkers used to salvage for 100% of their cost. So instead of canceling bunkers, you'd salvage them because you'd get more money back. Yeah. So bunker bank, you know, you just need interest on it, and you'll be fine.
Speaking of back in the day, it's kind of funny that yes, the Reaper needed and the barracks needed a tech lab to make the Reaper, but it used to have like insane anti-building damage. Like if these were the old Reapers, they could have actually just murdered those bunkers.
The Reapers are also slower, so you need to get a factory to actually get the speed upgrade
Oh no
for
way!
them. And they used to do twice as much damage to light.
This
So
should just
one
be.
Reaper could like 3-shot a drone.
Alright. That scares me to think of.
That's why they want a tech lab, though.
yeah.
But I mean, after all the crap we've given Jens, the 3 bunker has been working out really well for him, and at any point he can just salvage it and then put down a bunch of barracks to follow it up with. And I mean, we still don't know if he's going bio or mech, and neither does Future. He's come in here, he's had a good look, but it's just been, you know, a 1-1-1 opening. Oh wow, a 1-1-1 opening. And no extra infrastructure. And actually, it's going to be a 3rd command center here from Jens. So
I like this. I like this a lot.
yeah.
Because he's set himself in a really defensive position. He might not be able to break out for a little while, but when he does, he's just going to like immediately saturate his natural. Just he's still building SCVs, so he's going to just transfer them, even though he's over the default amount in the main base.
So we've gotten that 1 tank out. So it's about to be, you know, Future back the fuck up, or I will kill your entire army if you attack me time.
Oh,
And
really good mines.
yeah, I mean the mines are good, but there's a tank. So like,
Checkmate.
the mines do like 5 damage each, and he put all 4 of them down and lost every single Reaper. So I mean, it was great, but it was not every single Reaper. He lost a lot of the Reaper. Oh wow, now he's lost every single Reaper. Man. Wow, Jens actually keeps that bunker alive. I think he's gonna like salvage it now since he killed the Reapers. Or is he? He's gonna leave it there, maybe for like doom drops and stuff. That will be hilarious.
I wonder if this is just like next level meta. He's just like, a Future's probably thinking to himself, "It's like, surely now you've salvaged that bunker." He's like, "No,
Yeah.
I'm good."
Gonna keep it here. I mean, we've already established, and Future himself has established that he is a very micro-oriented player. He likes going for these early attacks. He wants to use the control of his units to get small edges against his opponents. And he's been having a decent success up until now, right now against Jens, who's kind of respected Future for his control and is just kind of over-defended. And now able to get himself in a fantastic macro position where he's going to be going bio.
Yeah. I was just thinking to myself, what if there's a next meta strat where Jens just gets the bunker upgrade and he just puts missile turrets around it? He's like, "Tomb drop me, I dare you."
6 Marines.
I need to see it, man. Make it happen.
He doesn't even have an eBay for it. That's actually something to note. Neither player has any upgrades on the way. So they're gonna solely. Well, there's the eBays now, as literally as I said it. He started them, but Future going with mech upgrades don't count that much for him. After you get like +2 attack, the mech army just kind of wins any fight against Bio. Really,
Yeah.
the armor upgrades are great against Marauders if you have a lot of Thors and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, he's gonna be getting an armory himself, and he's gonna try play catch up from here on out. He's been a little bit behind on eco, but he's going mech, and he's also getting that 3rd command center a little bit quicker. He's trying to take a little bit of a risk here.
Yeah, which he needs to, because he had an early gambit there that needed to deal damage. Jens respected it really, really well, like you were saying, and now finds himself in a really good position. In a way, he made Future hurt himself.
To Dude, Jens just loves this bunker interest, man. He's gonna make another one.
I tell you, man,
Like,
he like the money he made from the first bunker he salvaged, like the interest on that, it made him build another bunker, and it's a bunker network now. It's
do you think it's gonna be like a bunker crash, like 2008? They make the next bunker and they're like, we gotta be careful with this one. Like, remember the bunker crash of 9 minutes. That really was tough days.
no, Vaj, it's too big to fail. There's too many bunkers. It can't go down.
And we have now reached that point where both players have tanks, and now we have no idea what's gonna happen. Oh wow, I totally missed that drop in the main. You should have cut me off. I'm just seeing it now.
There was a drop. It happened.
Jens did like 8 marine drop in the main, and then it got shoot away.
I mean, I wonder if like Jens has a new strategy where you know how you leapfrog tanks? He just like leapfrogs bunkers.
Yeah, man. Well, there's a really old thing. So, you know Nidus worms, right?
Yeah.
So this game is kind of slowly building up to a big fight, guys, but they're just kind of powering on 3-4 bases right now. How Nidus worms work, right? They just teleport your units to another spot, right?
Yeah, Zerg teleport.
You can make like a long snake of bunkers, hotkey them to a hotkey, and then put marines, like shift queue marines into one bunker, and then you can like queue the bunkers into the next bunker, and then just hold down unload all key, and you could just teleport marines across the map.
No way.
Yes, it's still in the game. You can still do it. So, Jens, get on it, lad.
Bunker highway.
Let's go. He's got a couple minerals.
Yeah, man. He's been investing in like I feel like it's bunker roadways.
Yeah.
You know, I had no idea that that song that's like living life on the highway, on the high road or something like that. I had no idea that like in America that you can pay to go on a certain road where there's just like no traffic. I thought you should. Yeah, capitalism. I thought you should just know that. I mean, we have a similar system where there's just a line of sheeps that go from one town to another, and you just kind of.
60 sheep.
Yeah, I mean, you get warm. They make sure you're warm at night. That's for sure. But they, it's just kind of they waddle around from each one. Sometimes they stop for grass, but the grass per liter isn't too bad.
So Jens is trying to make something happen here. He's gonna try and snap a sensor tower and doesn't even get that. Like, he's trying to take some sort of map control, but Future's just been like, okay, whatever. I'm happy with my 3 bases. I'm securing another sensor tower for my 4th base. I'm still making this mech composition, and his Viking count's absolutely out of control. I just don't know where Jens goes from here. He's already getting a fusion core, so battle cruisers? Like, I don't know. This is looking really tough now for Jens. He has to move out with the few tanks he has and try to conduct some sort of like a sandwich from all sides. And we've already got Future like setting up, but all the tanks are on one spot. Oh.
Yeah, and I think it's the Liberators here for Future is just going to allow him to slowly edge forward. And if Jens ever tries to... Oh my god.
What?
I think
he was trying to scan, but he accidentally muled.
Maybe he was trying to bait some shots or something like that?
Bait some shots so his tanks can move forward? Yeah, I don't know, maybe. But now this spot for Future, like, he can just keep moving forward with the libs, like you said, right?
Yeah, and this is why we were talking about at the start of the game. Why mech is going to be a really powerful style going forward into the StarCraft 2 meta. It's so solid, right? There's so little downsides to it. Bio is really risky. If you're out of position, your army dies incredibly quickly. But mech, you can just kind of take your time, be a bit slower with your army, and you'll generally not have to focus too much on. It's harder to make mistakes.
It's definitely like a chess game right now. So there's actually 3 starports pumping out Vikings and Liberators. If Future really commits to this tight choke point on the left-hand side, he might find himself surrounded by Vikings and Liberators to take it out. That has still not been scanned. Jens has been hiding this huge Sky Army for so long, and now he finally shows it. Almost just waiting. He's waiting for 7 more Vikings. Like, he's just letting Future deal with this. He's got a little bit of a small bio army. Gonna go hit that 4th base potentially. But here it comes. Gotta make contact One ranged Liberator already setting up these tanks. They're all unsieging. The Libs are right on top of it. And oh my lord, what a
Stim.
fantastic trade there for Jens. And he's already got Sky upgrades. He's got the one armory, getting those up. And Future forced into making Thors now on the ground.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty odd position there for Future. Like, he wanted to put pressure onto Jins, but without any reinforcements, it was literally like, here's a piece of my army. You can kill it if you want, basically.
Yeah, and his army was just not enough air, right? And
Yeah.
Jens has just kind of been like, okay, he can't move out. He's on 3 bays. I see in his composition, it's mostly tanks. He can't come out with Hellions or anything like that. And now Jens is the one with a superior army in the sky. There's just not enough Vikings, and now Future has to go and do like a weird bio kind of base trade little thing. Gonna go attack down the right-hand side while his opponent takes down maybe a few more bases.
Yeah, and now that we have ourselves a little bit of a base trade scenario, I'm pretty sure this is one of the few ways that Bio really has a massive advantage over Mech, in that it has the mobility. He can either press forward further into Future's base, or he can get home a lot quicker and hope to crush the army that Future has on the map. And once again, he's out in a spot where he can't reinforce, and his air is incredibly obsolete to what Jens has. But currently we have
one fight. The Liberators are taking out all the tanks on the low ground. There's way more Vikings. He can't escape with his tanks. He's now unsieging it. But now the Bio's going to swing down on the south side. The 2 Thors going to put as much damage as they can. And now the Bio going to take them out as well. The Bio upgrades are actually really, really garbage. But it's good enough to take out the units that are here. And Jin's just playing such a very tactical game.
Yeah, I almost feel like Future, the pieces of his army, he's spreading them just too thin, and Jen's utilizing his mobility and able to cut pieces of the army up, and when your army's cut up like that, he can destroy each part quite easily than he would have been able to if it was all in just one clump. But it's something that I've been seeing more and more in TVT, where one player will rush for air superiority, and then that will transition into a stronger ground force. But then their opponent will then hide a bunch of air units and then retakes air superiority. So it's kind of funny, because earlier in the game you'd be like, oh wow, he's going for a great air force. But then their opponent's counter to that is to make an even bigger air force but hide it and then crush the early game advantage in air that their opponent had.
Well, I mean, Future's kind of in that hoping to crush his opponent right now, because he's got so little money. He was able to kill a few command centers that Jens was making, but he's still down in Vikings. He's still down in Viking upgrades. He's got like a Thor and a couple tanks on the ground. And that's pretty much the extent of it. The Vikings now going to clash in the middle. The Thor's
my
getting
god!
A few really decent shots off there, but the Liberators finally shoot that down. But the air army's looking fairly even, but it's the tanks on the ground that seal the deal. Future gets down 0-1 here, and Jin's really showing his true TVT colors. That was fantastic play.
It really was. It's kind of funny that the way he countered Future's aggressive, micro-orientated fast style was just to be more patient. He was just really, really patient, and he just kind of prodded around the map, and he let Future like overextend. Like the Future would extend, and he would just kind of pull back, and then cut the army off and take it out. So really cool style there from Jens, and cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, just a couple mistakes, but that's all you can really see. And Jens, I mean, his micro was on point, his macro was on point, but mostly his just decision making was fantastic. Like hiding the starports, where he was rallying his Vikings, not allowing Future just wasting scans left and right. Really not wasting, but utilizing them to see the army of Jens as he kept posturing around with the bios and the tanks. But unable to really see those Vikings until it was way too late. A lot of the gas for Jens invested in there, and just a very, very smart play for.
Yeah, really, really, really smart play. So, be interesting to go into game number 2 here, because I doubt Future's going to try something like that again. Like when you get shut down like that, it kind of it feels bad, man. You just there's a part of you that's like, oh no, God, I don't want that to happen again.
It is future we're talking about, though.
Sure.
So like, I can definitely see him doing the exact. In fact, I can see him doing the exact same build again, like down to the T, like the same, like weird spot for the 2-Rex Reaper as well. But I mean, Jins has had the number, right? You even SCV scouted. He just got the wrong spot and still held it off perfectly. So, but it's future style to be very aggressive, so I wouldn't put it past him to try it again.
Yeah. If anything, the SCV scout that Jens went for would have denied the more threatening proxy location. So, although he didn't scout where the proxy actually was, he would rather the proxies there than where he scouted it. But here we go.
Do you see that?
Yep.
Go on.
Shut up. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner is the red tier, and it is future.
And his opponent, match casted by a mind reader who can see into the future. It is the blue tier and Dust Gaming's Jins. Man, that was bad. I'm sorry. I tried to make it work.
Did you like introduce yourself while introducing a player?
Look, hey, I literally called this. Like the exact thing that he's doing right now. It's the same build.
It's
and
like
he's proxying it at the third. Exactly the same. Come on, man.
It's like you're hanging out with your friend and you're like, this guy's the man, but I'm way better. Like
No, it's more like, hey, this is a Nancy.
But I'm Vosh, you know.
I'm his friend. It's like, you're not my friend, but I'm your friend.
Well, Jens is just going to go straight across the map, and he should see once again that there are no buildings there.
Do you think he'll do the 3 bunker bank or the double bunker bank?
Probably the double.
Double?
Yeah, because like his investment into the bunker market last game was pretty good, but if he could cut that a little bit, invest into other areas, say the marine investment, you know, that's good too.
How much do you think Jens like puts down for his financial advisor? Like he just walks in, he's like, nah, not enough bunkers. Fuck.
He like shows him
too much benzene gas.
Shows him like screenshots of his base. He's just like, no, this will not do. Right. This will not do.
We're gonna have to audit your bunker. Fine. So it is the double bunker this time around, no triple, and very fast factory this time around.
Yeah, so he got the
first. Tough. It's this one ACV that's gonna be target fired again. That one ACV gets a couple shots off on the Reaper, and suddenly the yellow Reaper of Jens with the green Reaper of Future. But that's it, right? Like, what does Future do now? It's a similar spot with the bunkers on both sides.
I think he just expands here, like.
Yeah,
contain and expand, because there's just what are you going to really accomplish, right? I suppose he can run past a little bit, but he takes so many shots that Jens could actually walk out of the bunker, pull his SUVs, and he might be able to kill all of these.
Yeah, he does. That was not Future Micro, that's for sure. And he even cancels the Cyclone. He's like, yeah, whatever. Like, I don't need this. Let me just get a reactor. Like, this is over now.
Like, yeah,
I'm pretty sure it is.
Can't he just go across the map and just kill Future? Oh, no.
I mean, he could. And I think he might just do that now.
If this Reaper dies...
Future... I mean, if this Reaper dies, it's like, you know, it's the end of TVT, right?
The end! There is no more Terran!
Sometimes it takes 20 minutes with Sky Terran, and other times it's you have one Reaper running away from 2 and you die.
He could have taken that fight, I think.
Well, you don't want to lose the 2 Reapers. You don't know if there's like a CC on the other side or like, you know,
a Cyclone.
Reactored Cyclones coming your way. You have no idea. Whereas Future, again, lifting one of the barracks to send home, the other barracks just comes in, scouts like an Overlord. Pro tip, barracks are faster than Overlords. They practically have Overlord speed.
No way. And more health. Only costs 50 more minerals.
Yeah,
Terran OP?
It doesn't cost any larva, dude. What are you talking about?
Oh! Sick plays.
Dude, Jens is just getting fucked.
Did you see that little movement with the commands he afterwards? He's just like, no.
He's like, oh, damn it. Oh my again. Like, this has probably happened before. He just had that split second of like, all right, let's deal with this.
And now we're gonna
He
see
even
this.
he didn't even make like an orbital command first, right? So
No.
that was like really good for Future to deny there.
Orbitals are
Right.
basically like the caterpillar becoming the butterfly. It's becoming something beautiful that has. Anyway, Reaper's at the front, just poking around, and the Cyclone is out, but Jin should be able to hold this with a siege tank. So
Yeah, tank game. Like you get one tank, and it's like, all right, all aggression's out the window, and you just kind of move on to whatever the next phase is.
yeah,
And oh my god, the Reapers! Oh, he gets one. Oh, it's so nice to watch them die and not leave. Oh lord. But
Like-
a little bit of a change up here for Future. Rather than going for very, very fast factory infrastructure, wants to keep the map control up and running. He wasn't able to get some sort of a contain. He's gonna go for Cloaked Banshees. And without any engineering base, he's gonna have to save his scans. He's got no energy for the time being, but he does have 3 orbitals. So as soon as he sees our Banshee, or sniffs out our Banshee, he's probably just gonna hold on to those and keep the Cyclones and Marines on top of that.
yeah, it's kind of funny that yes, mules give you quite a lot of minerals, but the moment that your opponent starts investing into these banshees, by holding on to like scans become more valuable than mules with how much damage it does to your opponent.
Right, there's the first Banshee, getting a couple kills already. There's the third one. That's a decent amount of investment. He needs to get like at least 8 kills, I feel, before the scans really come into effect. Oh, no, there's a scan already. 6 kills, and the lock on. Oh, what?
Last shot.
Yeah, but what? That is a change. I remember that when a Banshee would leave a scan range, and a Viking would follow it with missiles, it wouldn't take any damage. That must be like an undocumented change. I guess the Terrans would know because they keep using it. But oh, second Banshee actually comes in, gets a couple of ACV kills. So this is working out pretty well for Future.
Yeah.
Again, we've been hyping up his micro this entire series. And he's able to finally utilize it here in game number 2.
But you're definitely right about Jin's just going to start stockpiling scans, and there you go with his triple orbital. He can just drop these left and right. And I was going to say like killing like a Banshee is obviously worth more than a mule is. So by killing one, you're dealing a lot of damage to your opponent. But not before the Banshee gets a lot of kills.
It puts Future ahead economically. And Future's going mech again. This time around, he's not down in supply, he's ahead in supply and ahead in eco. And his infrastructure is up already. He's got that double factory pumping. He can add on another 3 factories with this 3rd command center mining as well. And, I mean, the threat of Cloaked Banshees at any point of the game is gonna probably make Jens make a few more Vikings than he really needs to as well.
Yeah. Well, we have to see. So, Future probably going to commit quite a lot to the anti-air, but I wonder if we're going to see what we saw last game, where Future initially has air dominance, but if Jens is going to try and retake that with a hidden surprise, hidden Viking surprise, got to pillage your. I think it's kind of fitting. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, this game started like even better for Jens in game number 1, and just the fact that like 2 Banshees got like 20 ACV kills. This is completely in Future's favor right now.
Well, killing 20 ACVs is in the early game is a good way to get a lead. Who knew?
Yeah, I guess that's why Terran players opt to get that E-base so early, even if they're not going for bio.
Yeah.
We saw Future actually get that E-base very like faster than Jens, just in case there was like a counter Banshee coming his way.
Well, that's when things get messy.
A little bit less. But Future actually didn't make any turrets either, so they have been trying to power on the few bases they have, and in fact, I called it again, super fast double starport here for Jens. Gonna try get that air superiority before even getting enough ground force with tanks on the floor.
But for both players here, so it's gonna be a Sky Tyrian cutthroat kind of style. Like it's essentially like the equivalent of ZVZ of like, I got more roaches than you, like. Except for in this case, you can bring a Thor to the party.
Yeah, the bigger thing right now is that there's already a +1 armor upgrade for Future's Vikings because he has been going mech. but he's gonna have slightly less gas because he's also pumping out tanks at the same time. So they're both gonna have the same amount of infrastructure, but it's all gonna come down to like if Jins can hit with like a specific upgrade timing, or if he can just get like more Vikings out. Because like that's his only way he wins, right? We saw that in game number 1. His ground army cannot compete with the mass tanks.
No. But if it can separate the army into smaller pieces, it absolutely can. So I wonder if Future is going to be more conservative and maybe be a bit more patient with his army, or if he is going to be more of a battle mech where he's trying to be as aggressive as possible. Ooh.
I think that kind of answers your question right there. As the aliens just kind of dive in to see nothing, but this time he does scan in the main, sees the triple starport, sees the fusion core, and the man, what's it called? It's not liberator range. It's extended. Rather, do you know the name of it?
Thermal lance? No.
No, it's not. It's not. What? No way. Some guy in the chat's gonna be like, I watch Nathanius, and Nathanius reads it all the time. It's like, I'm sorry, it doesn't show up on the WCS overlay feature, and I don't play Terran.
Get good.
Get good. So, Future adding in a Raven or two, an interesting choice, rather than getting the Liberators in the composition to take out the tanks. He's probably going to use the Ravens to do that, and as well as what's it? Lockdown, is it? Where it increases decreases the armor of all the surrounding units for a set amount of time. So that's going to be a nice little.
It's got. I think lockdown is the ability where it disables it. But
what's the one that lowers the?
Yeah, there is one. It's like anti-armor missile, whatever. Like, but we have been seeing.
Same, though, when you fire them, it looks like. So
yeah, it really does. But something we've been seeing more and more lately is that armor debuff spell mixed with liberators to counter mass Vikings, because you remove the armor and all of a sudden the liberator splash damage can really murder clumped Vikings. But I mean, I say I've been seeing it more and more lately in the vein that people have been trying it, but I swear to God, I've never actually seen it successfully work. Like every time someone does that, well, every time they do it, like they lose the fight. It's so weird. I can't explain it. Like they do the spell, it all works out, but they just we'll have to see. Oh my God!
Right there, he's able to get 2 of them off. The Vikings already have +1 armor for Future. He's about to get +1 attack as well, and the Vikings for Jin's just all dying, and now he can actually just sit on top of the starport production if he really wants to, with a superior Viking count. Oh, there he is. He's just gonna chill out. The tanks at the 3rd base, able to siege away at the CC as well. And this is a tough spot now for Jins, as the Sky Army is unable to take on Futures.
No, you know what? I'm just gonna eat my words today. That's what I'm gonna do.
I mean, there weren't any Liberators in there, so technically you weren't wrong.
Yeah. Thanks, Fosh. You got my back. And
No
my coupons.
But it doesn't hide your anti-Semitism, right?
Wow.
Someone's gonna be like, what?
Where'd that come from?
Like they just open it up and they're like, oh, Chumquack, I wonder what this is about. Man. What? Oh, what? Oh, what? Are we okay? Is everything alright?
You what?
Oh, you're lagging.
Advanced ballistics. That's the one.
That's the one. Am I lagging or are you lagging?
To lag or not to lag? I think it's me.
Oh, it's me. Wait, it is you or is it me?
No, it is you. It is you.
It is me. Okay. Well, I'm currently watching a stream without issue.
Okay, that's weird. Well, we'll just give this a moment.
I mean, I can just... Oh, just pause it. I mean...
Are we set to, referee?
I don't think we have referee.
No? Okay, well...
It's me.
We'll resume.
I'm just gonna leave it, I think. There you go. It's all you, man. It's all you.
Alright. So, we got the tanks sieging up on the 4th base here. It looks like Jins has re-established his Viking count, And the Liberator is going to come in, doing a bit of splash damage, but instantly gets melted. Man, it's looking pretty close. The Viking numbers looks like it's 8 to Future and 8 to Gens, but drops a whole bunch of Marauders on the tanks. Hellbats clean them up very quickly. Future going to inch on forward very, very slowly. See if he can't continue on the siege. Hold on, I'll see if I can... Let's try this. I'll screen share with you.
I'm not having any trouble using the internet right now. Oh
Yeah.
crap! There's Liberators killing tanks.
Yeah, it looks like Jin's lost the air battle. Now the Liberator's going to push this all back, and it almost feels like a repeat.
Future's lost the air battle. Wow,
Yeah, Future.
Like, he just didn't invest into more Vikings. Jin's like didn't really want to make any more tanks or bio, and just went full on into the. This is working really well, by the way. Went fully into the Vikings instead.
It's kind of funny because does Future really need much more of a ground army? Like, once you get like 4 or 5 tanks and a few Hellbats, aren't you just sorted against bio? Like, isn't anti-air your only real threat?
At any point they can do the bio switch, right? Because there's still a bunch of barracks up, and you got all the starports to make medevacs with if you want to.
Right.
So you have to make like enough, because you can't land the Vikings, and Liberators are garbage against it. Whereas Mech doesn't really have that option. They only really have Thors and Cyclones that shoot up, and Liberators kind of do well against both of them, so you can keep the ground force pretty small.
But my counter argument to that would be, or to play devil's advocate, if you had the superior anti-air, wouldn't you be able to like shut down drops? Or are you talking about just pure stim bio?
Just stimmed bio on the ground. Even if they have like a few tanks, you can kind of split. You need like a decent critical mass of tanks and Hellbats to soak the damage to really compete, I feel.
Okay, well, Jens does have quite a few bases, actually. So his economy's really good. In fact, both players are in a strong position. So I think it would take maybe losing the army twice for either player to actually get an advantage over each other. So we really are going to go into the late game here of TBT.
Yeah, I think it's been, again, Jens with a fantastic tactical awareness. He's kind of been expanding down like this east side on the right-hand side of the map, whereas Future's kind of taking his corner. We'll see if that actually ends up mattering, because Future's kind of completely outpositioned his opponent. Will there be enough in the air? He's got like a couple Thors. I'm not sure if they're in the splash mode, but this space is just going to go down. And again, it's going to come down to if Jens can fight in the sky.
So 37 Vikings to the 28 of Jens. So looks like Future has solved his anti-air problem. But we'll have to see if the ground problem will come into effect like you were talking about.
There it is. He's got a decent amount of tanks on the ground as well. It's coming down to Viking upgrades, and I think the upgrades for the Vikings are better for Future as well. We see Jens trying to get that 2-2 in the sky. Does not want to engage before that's done, but the army is getting closer and closer, and as he keeps taking out the economy, the reinforcements are going to get split up as well. The Vikings are really engaging. It's now even upgrades. The Liberators on the ground to take up some tanks, and maybe you can engage with some bio, but perfect concave for Future.
Yeah, they take out the Thor first, is that they obviously attack whatever's attacking them, but they get all the tanks regardless. Now the ground force is dead. Oh no! And the Vikings going to try and fight the bio, but with Stim, they should be able to break through this, and I think Future has made a terrible mistake.
Yeah, he's actually lost absolutely everything. Vikings suck versus Marines. That is true, so that's what we were talking about. If you don't have that ground support as mech, the bio is able to get underneath it. I think my internet's now fixed. I don't know what the hell that was. Probably whales, man. Those damn whales.
Sheep chewing on the internet cable.
And I mean, Future is in an absolutely... I mean, this is just a tilting position now, right? Like, Jens again with the Sky Army, still getting more and more Liberators and Vikings. The upgrades in the Sky are going to go to Future now when he gets 3-3. But I don't know if the upgrades really matter past 2-2 for the Sky, because you start introducing like the missile, right? What was it? The defense missile, the lockdown as well to knock out the Liberators if you want to.
All
as
the
well.
Thors.
All the Thors, exactly. And Future is
decent run by. But does this really matter to Jens? I mean, he's got so many command tanks, he can replace that in one cycle if he so chooses.
It's more just that he has to replace a lot of Sky Army. And at any point, if Future just kind of goes to max Thors, it's going to be a little bit scary for the army.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's a funny thing happening in terms of the bases with Jens here, is that he's expanding faster than Future can actually kill the bases with his slow army. But I like the Liberate Harass. I think that's a really good way to lock down the bases, even if he can't kill them.
Yeah, but Future's losing something in that middle bit. I think that's a barracks or something. Yeah, so he's had a little bit of vision there. Jin's already losing the majority of the ACVs in that bottom right-hand base. Doesn't worry about it too much. He just knows if his ACV count is lower, his army's gonna be stronger. And especially when he gets that 3-3 upgrade, Future's gonna have nothing on him in terms of upgrades, in terms of army like upgrades and army size as well. So I feel like this is a smart play again from Jens, using the tactical advantage of having Bio on the ground to just have a slightly more supply efficient army.
Well, it's kind of funny to see that both players have spent their banks and have slowly remaxed again. And what I was saying before is it would take both players to lose their army, maybe once, maybe twice, for them to actually cripple each other. But I think we're at that point now with no banks, they'll be unable to replace an army once they've lost one. And the armies that they have will be able to very quickly tear through their opponent's infrastructure.
Yeah, I mean, Future's still trying to make some of this Hellion harass work, but Hellions are very supply inefficient. The more Hellbats he has, the more Hellions he has, he's going to have less in the sky and less tanks as well. So keep storing these away. It does mean his army gets a bit smaller, but at least it's bigger for the time being. But now is going to be the scary part where Jens is going to have a slightly bigger army. His upgrades are now even with 3-3. Future trying to play it out a little bit slower. He's already almost thrown away this game at least a couple times.
Yeah, and telling us, clarifying for us that yes, Vikings do indeed suck against Bio. The counter scan! Scan Wars! You saw it here first, folks.
Oh this one planetary fortress might actually clean this up. It's going to be really close. Oh no, he doesn't even get up. Oh no. See, this is just the strength of Bio, right? So every time Future sacks a Hellion run... Oh. Wow, okay.
Nah, Vikings are okay.
He lost like 2 Vikings there.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Lol.
That was like totally not worth it. Oh my lord. Alright. I mean...
Oh, look,
this is a smart move here, building turrets, but now his tank count's so small and he's stretching out so thin.
Yeah.
He keeps expanding over to the north side and the south side at the same time. And now the Bio is pulling him side to side. And more starports on the way for Jens. Again, playing so tactically well. A sensor tower being built in the middle of the map to just track the army of Future. He's going to completely outposition him.
Do you think that we might see battle cruisers out of these players? Maybe just transition into full air? Because I just don't see how Future keeps up with the Bioforce. I mean, usually, like I'm talking from like Mech Zerg versus Terran. We might have a big engagement here. A lot of Vikings.
Right now, the Bio splits up and he gets a little bit of damage done. Huge missile going down, but the concave is so good here for Jens. The upgrades are even, but is there enough Vikings here? And it looks like there is. It's so close.
Viking counts 14 to 10, and it looks like Future's going to win that fight. And he's got the bigger bank too. It's going to be very hard for Jens to bounce back from this.
Yeah, I mean, that one missile actually did so much work. The Liberators were actually sniped very quick there by Future, and Jens had no missile of his own. If he had one Raven and casted it on that big clump, that fight could have gone easily in his favor. The tanks were sieged up perfectly on time and took out the Marines before they did too much damage. And now, Future again, set to win this game for potentially the 4th time. We'll see how he throws it this time.
I love it, like your confidence in it, eh? Like, it's gonna get creative to throw it from here.
I mean, there's not a lot of ways that you can just lose your Sky Army in TVT, right? Like,
yeah, unless you park it over a Thor for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, that Future actually just completely has given up on the Thors. He just doesn't think they work. And
They're
it's
too
worked out for them.
slow.
The missiles just, yeah, they're just unable to really bring too much to the fight.
Alright,
Now,
well...
Future's the one kind of moving side to side, forcing Jins to keep going left and right.
Yeah. Trying to pull each other apart, but of course Bio's going to have a much better time with keeping up with this. I wouldn't be surprised if we just see Jins start to send off little squads of units to try and pick pieces of Future's infrastructure out. But, I don't know, it'd be hard to do against Vikings. They'll be able to snipe Medivacs very easily.
Well, I mean, this base is as good as gone right now. There's no way really to defend it. There's so many Vikings in the sky. There's a couple Liberators as well. The Ravens with their turrets, if the Bio really tries to get on top of this, it's going to be scary. This is a lot of Vikings, but again, the missiles are going to be huge here with the... Oh, my
Oh, for both players!
Missile. Oh, this is actually looking really good for Jens all of a sudden.
Yeah.
He got the bigger one, and the Vikings has to go down. What the hell is going on? He has to land his Vikings to deal with this. But look, the ground force of the mech is still there, right? This is why you need to keep that tank count nice and high in the Hellbat count as well for the tanking aspect of things.
Yeah, Jens really needs some Liberators. There they go. Speak of the devil.
They are, and he's probably gonna have to cover the retreat path of these tanks.
Yeah.
Gonna unsiege really. Oh, or they're not. There they go.
Apparently, Future
and
not.
And in comes the Bio.
Now they might be able to fight this. I don't know if stimming's a good idea.
I mean
not stimming, sieging.
Fine. Yeah, he's got everything. Jins again in a fantastic spot. Future throwing it once again. Man, I am such a good caster. I'm just insulting the players left and right. Unintentionally.
Sometimes me, the other casters, sometimes yourself. It's everyone's insulted. Okay, no one's happy.
No one's happy. No one's feeling good. Everyone's feeling like crap, and especially Future right now, as he's gonna be losing this base once again to a Bioforce. And
this is a lifted orbital, by the way.
Himself. I don't know what he's gonna try and. Oh my god.
What's doing?
This is so dumb.
Well, the irony is that landed Vikings against mech is actually really viable because of their bonus damage against mechanical.
Yep.
But it's funny to see, like, so if Future ends up with excess Vikings, they're kind of useless. But if Jens ends up with excess Vikings, like, sweet, I'm just going to land these on your tanks and kill everything.
Yeah, they like two-shot everything. That all melted. It was ridiculous. And now Jens again has that they have the same upgrades, but Jens has the bigger army again, and more supply as well. So this is like all down to positioning once again. But the Viking count's not there for Future. Like, he's just gonna come in with a concave once again. I think there is one Raven present for Jens. Oh no, there's a couple Liberators. I don't see a Raven in here. But it's looking not so great for Future. If he comes in a concave once more, and Future loses the fight once more, this is gonna get embarrassing for sure. And there it goes. The two Liberators are down, but the Seeker missiles are huge. Lands on every single Viking. The tanks are taken out, and now comes the Bio of 3, 4.
Yeah, Future trading out more.
Yeah, I think it's just barely enough. Future coming in with more Sky Army, but it's the Bio on the ground now. That's the scary part. The 3 Marines that are there.
Well, these players, I think, as I was saying, like, they have traded their army like once or twice now, and now they're broke. Now they've killed each other's bases, and you know, as the dust settles, I think Future is looking ready to take this game.
Yeah, he's got more bases mining, so even though his engagements have been poor here in the late stage of this match, he's just been constantly expanding now along the south side, which is a much better spot. He can keep pushing through up towards Jens natural and then forward onto into production as well. And Jens, although he's been taking fantastic fights, he has not been able to keep up in the economy game.
No, he really hasn't. And he was in the lead for a while, but I guess the one thing, like, yes, Future was trading really badly whenever he tried to move out, but he was killing the bases. He was slowly but surely crippling the economy for Jens. And I think the killing of this base might be the nail that broke the camel's back.
That poor camel, man. Its coffin has just been really getting nailed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's the coffin's really getting broken.
But I mean, his entire army's now Viking, right? And
Yeah.
Jens is like, okay, you made all these Vikings. I'm just gonna go bio again. He's actually been upgrading his bio. He has 3-3 on the ground.
Yeah, he does.
Like, there's no tanks again. So although there's Sky Tier in here, it's actually
What?
not gonna do well. Jens was able to remax. He doesn't need the bank. He's just making bio.
Future never got was it advanced ballistics?
No, well, he hasn't made Liberators, right? He's only made the Ravens instead. There haven't been a lot of tanks for
Yeah,
Future to
true.
use that Liberator range on.
You're not going to use liberators on bio, that's for sure.
I mean, you could try, but I mean, the Marines just chew through that butter.
Does he just make battle cruisers? Like, is it? Are we at that point now? Surely.
Well, we're at a weird spot now where again Jens is making the correct decision with his composition, and Future again is probably gonna make a terrible engagement. And I don't know. I feel it.
Some
Like,
way,
right now, look,
somehow.
look at this bio. He just
Oh,
needs
no.
to kill everything, right?
Oh my
shit.
god!
Oh, that was huge. Too bad they don't do any damage.
Oh, it's killing it!
They do damage.
It's the
like,
turrets!
oh my god.
Oh my god!
Mass Ravens are viable again.
Don't tell a Velo!
I think they do like a small amount of damage, but they took enough of those missile shots that they take so much extra damage from attacks that they actually killed the Marines. Man, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, with no armor, they just fall apart there. Where's your 3-3 now, boy?
God. Yeah, I mean now like Future can land the Vikings and waddle them over. Like this is, he's got so much now. Like, I mean,
Do you
he's
reckon-
not moving. He's letting Jens come back slowly, albeit, but there's a chance. There's still hope that this game can make it to an hour. There's still hope.
Yeah, well, do you think that he can get enough Ravens to actually kill a planetary with auto turrets? Do you think he could actually do that?
He's about to do it right now. I'm guaranteeing it's about to happen. He's just gonna Hellion down all the SCVs, and he's gonna put down like 6. No, he's just gonna land the.
Yeah, he's just gonna land the Vikings. Or not.
Or not. Or yes. Or not.
Yeah,
There
nah.
we go.
Yeah,
Look at-
nah.
look at this- now it's gonna be this dumb thing where you like land half the Vikings. Half the Vikings are flying, half the Vikings are in the air. Alright, so here's a cute little attack. The Hellions themselves can probably deal with these Marines. There's one Raven, I guess that's cost efficient. He's gonna back off, but Future's like, whatever, my army's so sick, I'm just gonna kill another one of your bases. And this has kind of been his checkmate move this entire game, which is
Yeah.
like, I'll just keep killing bases. Eventually there'll just be no bases left for me to kill. And I'll just kind of walk away with the victory. And it's taken 33 minutes to get to a point where Jens finally has nothing really to create now. He's kind of gone through the entire Terran tech tree and has not been able to make things work for a while.
Oh, the auto turret counters the Liberator. That's cool. That is cool. You gotta respect that.
Who wins? One Liberator versus one auto turret.
Please, have you seen my Liberator micro?
Librators can't even attack auto turrets because they count as buildings.
Oh, you're right.
It's like, it's
Rip.
like, who wins, the Roach or the Banshee? And you're like, oh fuck.
Hey, like, the funny thing is, like, Jens can't actually build medivacs because of the high Viking count.
Because of how many Vikings there are. Yeah.
So
he
every
just-
time he stims.
Yeah. So that's why he's been timid with the stimming, right?
And if he stims, the Hellions will get him. Okay, so Hellion Viking apparently beats Bio.
I mean, Hellion Viking and like 3,000 Ravens. Like, oh wow, suddenly Vikings, what the fuck?
And then there were Vikings.
Yeah, but even with that, it's like, look at how much extra damage the Vikings are taking. And
Yeah.
it's just- it's
GG.
not ridiculous. GG. Now I can finally get into the game again.
Can I? Yeah, that's true. Can I just
Yeah, yeah.
remind you that that started with a really failed, botched T-Rex?
Proxy 2x, yeah. Can I remind you that I was casting
Yeah.
from my mind? Like, I didn't even see the game. I was just I was out for like the second half of it, right? I just felt what was going on.
You just like meditated and like plugged, like ate that one part of the Ethernet cable and just became one with the internet.
Yeah, it's those damn whales, man. Keep ruining my internet. So, wow. So, on the other side of the bracket, all these ZVZs have ended super quick, and Volts has made his way to the semifinals. So, the winner of the next game between these two guys are guaranteed a Terran versus Zerg in the semifinals against Volts, and that's gonna be a bloody mission for sure. And then in the loser brackets, we do have Game Time, Siegfried, Rays, Eon, Winter, and the winner of Lero and Furax as well. So those are all decent names on the lower bracket as well. So this is not over just yet. Who's going to come out victor here? And I think if Future wins here, he's going to have a better chance against these guys because of his aggressive style. But I'm not sure. Jens has been playing like an absolute beast.
He has been. And honestly, I think either player here could really advance. Future, some really big mistakes there, but showing that he was able to slowly but surely edge out that game. But now we're going into a much smaller map. Do you think this favors mech? And like, if we were just kind of to talk about a smaller map versus a bigger map, like, doesn't that just mean that mech has less space that it has to cover and defend? Or does that mean that bio...
But you have to look at the layout on this map, right? So there's a lot of dropping potential on this map, and the way that you expand is very different to a map like Blackpink, and that fourth base is actually going to be a real hell to defend against bio. So I actually think Jens is going to do bio again, but Future's feeling very, very comfortable with mech. And I think I just introduced both the players for you.
You did, but we were, somewhere in the...
What were their names again? I can't remember. Who was this in the top left?
Yeah, it's Future, so it's...
Oh, it's Future.
Yeah.
What color is he again?
Yeah, she's... Oh, look, I'll zoom in. Look, he's red, I think.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
cool.
He's red, I think. Is
yeah,
he
are you sure? No, there we can see. There's some SCPs behind that. Cool.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure. And in the bottom right-hand corner, I guess this is the other player, right? It's Jens. What's that icon there? Dust Gaming?
Dust, yeah. It's got a little devil on it, I think, with a fork that has an extra... It's a fork with, like, big fork, really, yeah.
Dude, it looks like me in the sack.
What?
Just let it sink in. There's multiple layers to that one. It's bald, it's got horns, it uses a fork, it's bright red, you know how it is.
Right, so Future hasn't gone for proxy this game.
I mean, considering how poorly they've gone, like, I'm not surprised, but...
Ironically, like, this map would probably be better for it than the other maps he's tried it, so... I guess this is just where we are now.
I mean, Jens has been like, all right, I see like no barracks in your base. I'm just gonna put down 3 bunkers and fuck you, right? Like, he doesn't give you any chance to really make it work. So I think this is Future respecting his opponent more than anything. Yeah,
the bunker market really is. You can't beat that with a Reaper investment.
No way.
Reaper shares.
So I was gonna say something. But now I have no idea what it was
about. Something anti-Semitism Wales, something?
Yeah, something about, like, 9/11 being an inside job.
But yeah, so... I like that Jens does scout the different locations with his Reaper. Like, there's not much reason for him to go all the way across the map. In fact, both players respecting the possibility of proxies. And that tends to happen when a new map comes out and players are uncomfortable on it and still kind of figuring out, what bases do I take? It's very common to just kind of proxy and cheese on them because...
Yeah, it's so weird with the places that they've actually been scouting, though. If you look just, like, south of Future's Natural, that's actually like a jump path for the Reaper, and he's not looked there at all. Same for Jens, right? North of his Natural, that's a Reaper jumping path to head up into the main, and they haven't looked there at all, so... Oh, no. Shit!
Oh, Future! Much better micro.
That's game over.
Yeah, that might be.
I mean, if you ask a Terran player, this is it. You just tap out here. Both players with the identical units going out to the middle of the map, trying to just see what's going on. And now, from here on out, Future's going to have that nice little map control.
Well, Future's been really hesitant there and not going to utilize his Reaper lead. Now the Cyclone's out, he will have to stay outside the base, but of course, you don't want to miss your own mecha at home. Now, it looks like Future's going for a Cloak Banshee, whereas Jens is just going for a Liberator. Nice nade, by the way.
Yeah, going for the Liberator allows him to put on pressure that a Banshee can do as well, but also allows him to get this natural base a little bit faster, but just having slightly more units, Future able to shoot away the Cyclone. He's going to be waiting up for the... Oh my god, it's a fake, it's a fake cloak. You see that?
Yep.
About to cancel it.
What even is that upgrade? I don't even know what that is.
Medevac speed.
Actually?
It's like Medevac start with more energy or something.
What?
Yeah.
How have I never known that that's a thing?
Because it's so pointless, because you make Medevacs and they just kind of have energy, so you just don't really care. They have enough. You don't like go out and you're like, fuck, my Medevacs are full of energy.
You know what they should do?
Like...
They should make the boost ability tied to the energy. So Tyrion players have to actually think...
They talked about that for Legacy of the Void. It doesn't quite work out as well as you'd think.
Because then it's like a risk-reward kind of thing. Maybe you give them more energy. Whatever.
Oh, the turret is almost up! There's one Cyclone. There's one Banshee just out of range. Oh my god. It's like just enough to be annoying. Like not quite enough, but just enough. But oh, the CC on the low ground finishes! He's unable to put enough pressure. Jens putting himself in a terrible spot now. Future able to utilize the Cloak Banshee, do at least a little bit of damage. 7 SCVs have gone down for Future, which is a big deal. But Future does have the ground army lead. He's got the 3 Cyclones. He's gonna keep making them as well because he's got that reactor on them. So this is more like what we've seen recently in TVT, where players just go for the mass Cyclone builds.
All right. Yeah. No. I mean, in a way, it's kind of like what?
Oh no way! Oh my god, that SCV! No way! Oh, never mind. All right, we're good. Okay, he saw it. All right, we're good. He's probably gonna have to keep this Liberator at home and set it up somehow. No, he's gonna send it off. He's only got 2 Cyclones and a Raven. The auto turret is going to be huge in defending this if he's able to get it. The Liberator actually sent to do some sort of a bit of counter damage. It could have been useful here. But now the CC is starting to take some damage. SCV is starting to go down. But he has trapped the army. He's able to put down a couple... No auto turrets just yet. The SCV is taking a decent amount of damage. 4 Cyclone coming in. He gets a couple auto turrets down. That's huge.
Oh, he locks them into the backside of the base. But the Cloak goes down for Future's Banshee. We'll keep this alive for a little bit longer, and I think Future might have just broken the coffin in the back. I'm trying, alright?
I don't even know where this is going. Broken the coffin in the back. I mean, Jens is down in supply. The Liberator that was set across the map has been killed off. The 2 Cyclones in the natural almost killing this CC. Actually, with the lock-on, might be able to finish it off. They're going to do it from range as well. Oh no, there he goes. He's gonna save the CC, but at what cost? At this point, he's lost so much. This Banshee's still doing work. There's no Raven, it got sniped. There's no detection at all. 2 more Cyclones coming in. They can lock onto this if they choose to. There they go. And this orbital is...
Oh, now they're repairing. The repair.
Oh my god. This is getting too close on the CC, but I mean, he's lost all of his SCVs now. So like... I'm not... This is not good. Future's feeling super comfortable now. He's like, okay, I'll just keep making Cyclones and just sending them in 2 at a time. I really don't give 2 shits. I think I'm gonna be fine right now. He's getting a 3rd command center as well. Adding on some more factories. Armory could come down at any second to make those Cyclones even more potent. In fact, here they come. 2 more. Focus fire in on
can he even afford to repair it at this point? I guess he can, but it hurts.
He's got to, right? Yeah, oh my lord. Oh lord, he even loses this 2-on-2 Cyclone battle. Yeah, the SCV's there too, but Future's micro is just so good on such a close spawn map like Abiogenesis. Future able to utilize his micro so well. Jen's just a little bit slow on his target fire. Future's just on top of it. That micro tournament practice. We're working out too.
I'm a micro tournament pro. Well, there's that 3rd command center. Honestly, it probably doesn't even need it at this point, but it's like, why not?
You know, Future can just go full MMA now. Just kill that 3rd command center and still win the game. I'm bringing back the 2011 memes, man. They're all coming back today.
This has been just like a, hey, do you remember back in the day? I remember.
Full hit point Cyclone against 2. I mean, he's literally just like queuing in Cyclones and doing more damage than Jins is, even with Defender's advantage in ACVs. Like, he's really toying with him by now, right? He's even looking for a third CC. He's like, oh, I'm that far ahead? Oh, alright.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, it's kind of tough for Future to actually build something to actually finish gens off. So he's kind of, well, yeah, but yeah. So he's kind of forced to take his time a little bit more, make some tanks, and then go off and finish what he started.
Yeah, as soon as these tanks get across the map, then with such a short rush distance, they're gonna get there nice and quick. Jens has absolutely nothing to deal with it. I don't even think they need to be sieged. Like, I think he's just gonna wait for this armory to be finished so he can have, like, hellbats, maybe. But even without that, I think he's got enough firepower to take down the 4 Cyclones. That's all that Jens has, really.
It looks like Jens is actually going mech here. I only just kind of noticed.
I mean, he's trying to go mech, but, I mean...
He's trying to make it happen. Oh my god.
There's not a lot of tactical decision-making that he can do here. He just has way fewer units, way less mining. He's almost down to 50% of the SCVs that Future has, and only half the bases. Like, he's already mined out the main effectively, and this is looking really, really bad. The leapfrogging of the tanks. He has to pull all the SCVs off the line. The Hellions focus firing on the SCVs. The tanks focus firing on the Cyclones. And Hellbat's coming in to join the fray. The Cyclones are able to deal with it, but he's lost every single ACV at the natural.
Oh man. He holds, but what cost, right?
I mean, that's pretty much been this entire game. Is like, oh, he's held, but he's lost all his ACVs. He's held, but he's lost all his ACVs.
Yeah, yeah. There's only so many times you can do that. And that's going to be it, GG.
GG. So, Future able to go on here in the Platy-pro number 6. Gonna be playing against Volts or Cicada in the semifinals. In the lower bracket, that does mean that Jens is gonna play against the winner of Game Time, Raze, and Eon. That's gonna be crazy. The lower bracket's actually been fairly stacked this whole time. And yeah, Lero able to win against Furax, gonna be playing against Winter now. It's all best of ones down there, so we might actually get some cheesy games.
Well, Lero, yeah. I mean, Lero was kind of one of the first series that we actually watched get knocked out, but he's grinded his way through the losers bracket, taking out Rawbot, Jamone, Robbie, Barbarossa, now going up against Winter, which would actually be quite a cool game to watch. But the semi-finals is ready for us.
Alright, let's get it. I mean, I'm not in there.
Well, players should be ready. Now,
let me in, Nancy. Let me in.
Just,
Press my button.
just
let me in.
Just the tip.
Press the invite button. Here's the coupon.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm just being. This is a PG Christian stream, man.
Oh yeah.
I was messaged by Charmquark earlier that we have to keep it PG Christian.
Yeah, man. We respect the woman.
Yeah.
The woman.
No. Wait, I'm sorry. What? Have you even read that? What are you talking about?
No, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to cast the entire tournament. We did have some long games there because I do actually have to head off to work in an hour. So I might be able to do one more game. I don't know if I'll be able to do a whole series, but I'll do one more game, guys, and then I might have to tap out. Unfortunately, work is work. But
it's that damn Future versus Jens game, man. That was just a little bit shorter.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll jump into the first game of Future versus Volts, who's currently playing for Dankshrine, which is pretty cool. Also, hi
really?
Dankshrine.
Who told you that?
Dankshrine.
Wow. That's crazy. He
Wow.
told me as well. I thought
Wow.
he was talking directly to me.
That's amazing.
Oh,
Wow.
no. Vaults is apparently AFK, man. You better just start packing your briefcase, man.
Rip
Work.
my briefcase.
Yeah, man. You gotta take the briefcase and you gotta be loving it.
Shut up.
Sorry, I had to do it.
What, the big case?
Yeah, the big case. Yeah, it's huge, man. Filled with mayonnaise.
Oh man. It's
That's
getting
the
pretty
entirety of the briefcase.
it's getting pretty cheesy.
Yeah, it's cheese, mayo, and sesame seeds.
Loads of seeds. You're a pretty
Yeah,
seedy
just
guy, aren't you,
nothing
Vosh?
but seed. I don't know what that means. Actually. I have to go seedy.
Alright, wait. Okay, let me get this straight. So the bracket, his name is Cicada? Cicada?
Sordid and disreputable.
Cicada?
I don't think I'm disreputable.
And in the lobby his name is Ace. But he used to be called Volts.
Damn it! Now you've ruined it. Now, what was his name again? Vodge, was it? Is it Vodge that's?
It's incredible. You're playing the game you're casting, and you somehow have vision of everything. It seems kind of imbalanced.
I just have two clients open.
Two clients, yeah. You just got your TV like running the game on one screen. You're like, yeah. Like, what's he doing over there? He's Turex. Oh, sweet.
That's why I've been so good at predicting like responses. He's gonna make like 3 bunkers. Yeah, I am.
Bring it, like, can you bring up the units tab really quick? Oh, he's got those upgrades. Cool.
Oh, I'm lagging out. I mean, I'm lagging out.
Wait, we need to pause. We need to pause for a moment here. I just need to have a look at the minimap. All right. Well, it looks like Volts is back. Hopefully we can sneak in a game. Hopefully Vaj doesn't sneak in something else, but we'll get there.
You mean hopefully?
Whoa, stop it, please.
Oh wait, I am covered in sweat.
Is that all?
And this is like the 4th person that's invited me to a party now. What is happening? There's 50 people online for me.
Oh my god. Yeah, so just to answer your question there, thanks Shane, even with 2-minute delay. The stream will just kind of shut down for a little bit, and then someone else will take over. Just take the reins.
We'll see.
Either yourself or Nistic. Just.
Yeah, I'm just not sure I can do it like visually.
So
yeah, I just got a message. Hey.
But it's yeah. Right. We did a solid effort there. I mean, we casted a half-an-hour game. Oh, is your internet not good right now?
No.
Ah.
That's why. Like, that's why I was trying to find out what was OSC, what's happening with OSC, because it's been kind of dodgy all day.
Right.
I was trying to ladder before, and I was just getting dropped.
It's kind of strange, eh? Like, how, like, it seems fine, but every now and then, like, the client is like, he dropped internet, excel him, like, delete his account, like, get rid of him.
It's only, like, StarCraft, really. Like, I was having BattleNet have issues. It must just be, like, the constant connection.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
So, I'm not sure how far along with the vetoes we have
Like,
Future and Volts going for.
Is it a best of 5?
It's a best of 3, but both the players are still not in the game. So, they're still just kind of chilling out for the time being.
There we go.
Oh, hey, look at that. I'm invited to something. Have you been invited to a party?
No, I'm not cool enough.
Oh.
I'm gonna cry in the corner.
Oh wow, have you not actually?
No.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
That was me that invited you.
Oh, Bunch. All right,
See ya. I'm out. I'm out.
I'll use one of those coupons, eh?
I'm gonna get out of casting free card. See ya. Oh crap! I think my dick broken off. Bye.
What?
No questions. I'm just going to go fix it real quick. I want to go see the doctor. Future's not ready, so we're just gonna chill out. So TVZ. Oh, whoa! Hold on a minute. Wait, did Volt switch to Protoss?
What?
Is that why? That would make more sense as to why he's named Cicada, and now he's Ace. He's playing Protoss.
I guess I have seen him practice as Protoss, but I mean he was originally a Zerg player, right?
Yeah, he was a very good Zerg player.
Interesting. Maybe he just got upset with CVP.
Or TVZ.
He's pinging the minimap. He's like, hey, look at me, please. Spawning in the top left corner is the red Protoss representing Dank Shrine. It is Volts.
So what team was he representing?
Dank Shrine.
Oh, okay. In the bottom right hand corner, representing Teamless. The biggest team in the esports circuit known to mankind. It is the Blue Terran Future. Probably the best, well, I wouldn't say the best, but up there in the top 3 for North American Terrans. You know, you have to put Avillo up there.
He's incredible. He's actually the best mech player of all time. Like everyone gives him crap, but he's amazing at the game, and he has a really great attitude. If you've ever seen him stream, he's so positive.
Go on. I was like just waiting for the sarcasm to see it until the very end.
Yeah, you gotta wait with the sarcasm. You gotta mix it with a bit of truth.
What? He's not the best mech player. That would go to like.
Oh no, he's a mech player. That was the truth.
He is our mech player. So we did see. Let's just call him Ace for just for ease, right?
Yeah, just some viewers know who we're talking about.
Cicada / Volts. Did go and check for proxies down the left-hand side. Future again. Could have put proxies at that third base location, which is already done on Catalyst, but he is just opening up super standard here. So, kind of using his cheesy reputation against his opponent for the time being.
Interesting, the barracks pathing here as well. He's actually checking for proxies himself.
There's the Reaper. Gonna go out and have a look. See the probes coming along the map down the middle as well. And
Zealot.
Probe. It's a Zealot. What?
What?
Okay. I mean, I think I might actually like delay that CC because that Reaper's like looking around.
Yeah. What? Is this like the equivalent of like the 12 pull, like the early pull from Zerg? Like
oh, wow,
Volt.
well.
Ace is just like, yeah, man, this worked in Zerg versus Terran. Why doesn't it work in Protoss versus Terran?
Oh my god, he's putting down like a bunker and everything. He's like scared shitless about this one Zealot and an Adept.
It's because he's only just now scouted.
The Reaper's coming across the map to do something.
There is an Adept out, I believe.
Yeah, there's an Adept too. And there's an Adept at home almost done as well. I'm
sure that Adept could probably hit the SCV on the high ground, but looks like he's just gonna try and cancel the command center. Oh, Future is... He's falling apart here.
Really losing aim. I think it just might be a little bit too late for him. He's starting to make some very questionable decisions right now. The Cyclone's gonna deal with it. He's not gonna lose that in 2 to 3 hits, so he's kind of happy to have that up and about. The Adept is here and might snipe this SCV. Oh no!
Oh,
far out, man. Like, you just have like a split second where Future's just like, Alright.
I'm gonna kill some of your probes with my Reaper. Just we can get revenge here.
But I mean, at the end of the day, there's not actually that many probes out for Ace right now. He's still only on about 26. The second base has now finished. Future was able to get a few a few probe kills rather, on the opposite side, and now suddenly Ace forced to go into like this weird robo kind of thing with like shield batteries, a robo bay. I'm just kind of. This is definitely like a Zerg player's take on
It
how
really
to
is.
win
It really is.
PvT.
And I like the idea of like giving a Zerg player an adept. It's just like, you know how annoying this was in my mineral line? I wonder what I can do with it.
Yeah, pretty much. Like he's gotten like an adept. He's not really respecting any sort of 3 Cyclone 4 Marine timing
No,
wandering across the map.
he's really not.
I mean, the 1 shield battery can deal with it ish if this Immortal's microed perfectly.
Yeah,
but
pull
2
some
shield batteries
probes.
would have dealt really well.
Pull some probes, and I think he's fine. Because look, he like does a third of the health every shot. It's...
Oh my god, but the Immortal goes down though. That's it. Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Wow, the Immortal actually survived. I can't believe it. You called it. That was some, like the perfect time to pull it back too, because it tanked
Nah.
as much damage as it possibly could have. Whoa, okay.
No. Colossus don't.
Oh,
They may
Colossus
kill
is
roaches,
microed
but
as
they
well.
don't kill cyclones.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This started off great, and this has ended absolutely terribly.
Alright, wait, okay, so what if I've learned anything from today, just give Future some cyclones, and you're away laughing.
Oh my god, it's the probes that...
He's got to tap it on the back!
Oh, there's like 3 SMEs!
Ah!
Yes, it survived! Someone dies, but this one stays alive! They're just randomly...
He's still making Colossus!
And it's
No!
The one Cyclone's able to damage it!
Cyclones can... Like, in what world?
Damaging the Colossi!
In what world can a cyclone beat a Colossus?
Oh, almost. It was the micro and the adept block. But, I mean, Future did commit a decent amount of infrastructure to that. If we go back to his house, I mean, his base.
Oh, this is my home, bro. And, look, I just switched my starport with my factory. Look at that, man. Look, I got 2 medivacs. I got 2 starports, man. It's looking real good.
He's got 2, yeah, but that means he can make Vikings if he wants to, right? Do you think he's gonna do that? Or is he just gonna commit to this, like, marine droppage and just start being really mobile with his army? Because the Colossi count's already up to 3. Oh, no, 2.
Fudge.
He's actually making a warp prism follow-up. He's gonna like micro with the warp prism. Lord, this is turning out to be weird.
What if he does both? What if they just both drop each other? Just like hypothetical. Like what about this? What if Volts goes to drop Future, and then he gets dropped at the same time, and he recalls the warp prism with the Colossus still in it?
I think actually Volts is just gonna go for a massive timing because he thinks he took too much damage, and I think I agree with this assessment. But he just doesn't have enough stalkers on the ground, so with the 3 Vikings being built at a time, he can kind of just sack the Vikings to kill the Colossi and the Warp Prism in the sky. And it's kind of like how Jens was dealing with his mech army, right? He's gonna do that against Protoss, and he's gonna have enough bio and ACVs on the ground to do the damage for everything.
My
Oh my god, he's gonna
God.
recall the entire army home.
And he loses the entire mineral line in the process.
Oh my lord. And now the army's still too slow to follow the medevacs.
It doesn't have blink either.
Naturally, if it wants to. Oh lord. Oh man. Ace is in a terrible spot. Future's just taking him for a fool right now. Making him look stupid as he moves across the map. Still no upgrades for either player. Very low economy game. The Cyclone's just doing so much damage. Oh my god.
Oh no.
Left alone for just the split. Oh, actually, he shouldn't have really engaged with his Marines, but I mean, there's engagements going everywhere, and Bio's winning all of them. And
Vaj, why did the Colossi fall over?
Because it wasn't balanced.
Fuck. Damn it. You're...
Hear this one. A Marine walks up to a bar.
There's no counter. Meanwhile, Zerg plays.
One of you guys is really low volume. I wonder... Oh, it's me.
It might be
I'm
you.
really low volume.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me hear it on the stream.
Well, I mean, that's me done anyway. I have to go to work now.
Are you done now?
Yeah, man. I got work in an hour. I have to get ready and I have to walk down.
Damn.
Yep.
If you can't finish off the series, it might just be one more game.
Fudge, don't do this to me.
We'll do one more game.
Don't do this to me, man. Alright, we'll do one
I can't
more.
otherwise I'd cover you. I'm looking at my speed test and it's not looking good.
Alright, I'll do one more. One more, but better not be late for it.
Yeah, that's it. I will not ask you for another one afterwards.
Alright.
And I don't think Charm Quark's gonna, like, pressure you. I mean, he could.
He could. He's a...
I love
So-
how Future's like, go, win ready. And I'm like, fuck, and Nancy's not here yet. What are you doing? Like, sure, I'll watch it. I'll just tell you what's happening. Oh, 1 minute, please. Oh, no.
No.
You may as well, like, start packing your boots, man. Get that briefcase ready.
Yeah, man. Probably put the socks on. My big woolly socks. They're great for soaking up things.
Oh, my God. And now Future's going to the bathroom.
Gonna.
Okay, well, I mean... I've kind of screwed you here, man.
You have. You've.
And now both the players are like, yeah, fuck this. We're kind of good. We're just
Right.
gonna...
Well, we'll invite him, but then we're just like, I'm kind of hungry. Let's just. go.
number one, we won't invite him. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even invite him.
And I'm just
Oh,
like,
God.
Fudge, give us an update on the game. It's like, it's incredible. It's the
Oh.
greatest thing I've ever seen. He's like doing
I've
the
never
most.
seen Micro like this. He's, like trolling things very well.
He's using drop micro on supply depots. It just blows my mind. Imagine that. Imagine if like there's a new proxy marine build where you build a command center, but then like you use that to load marines and you fly that into your opponent's base and you do like pick up and drop micro with the command center.
Oh my lord.
That should just be a thing.
Getting
And then you turn it into an orbital and you float it home and you just drop like 5 mules.
Orbital bank?
Yeah, man. It's the best investment there is.
Oh, hold on. No, don't say it. Okay. I
Go,
thought
go, 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 go,
you
go,
were
go,
saying
go.
go, but Future's in the bathroom. So I was like, wait, what?
No, bro. He's actually already played this game.
I just love how Mia Micah comes into Platy-pro, Platy-pro chat and goes like, no one wakes me up for these tournaments, and I was screwing my cat all night. It's like, what?
Dude,
Whoa,
the first,
Mio.
you know, the first time I
What?
casted Mio, he trolled me so hard. He was telling me that he was like a trans and there's actually a girl. I spent the whole time saying like, oh, she's doing really well. You know, it's incredible.
Well, this is like obviously he just spoke English. Like, he was trying to say that his cat was keeping him up.
I can't unhear that.
Screwing my cat. Okay.
Spawning in the bottom, the top. Oh my god! In the top right-hand corner, as the red Protoss, it is Ace.
Representing Dank Shrine.
Dank Shrine, just dank as
Dank
hell.
Shrine. We got it. Super dank. And not so dank. In the bottom left-hand corner, in the blue, it is the Terran player formerly representing Rival Gaming. It is Future. Hopefully, for Nancy's sake, he's gonna do some cheesy BS.
You better. But he
gonna
just
be
went to the
up 1-0.
bathroom,
He just went to the bathroom. He's like, you know what? While he's like
took a
watching
big
YouTube
shit.
video on his phone, he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna cheese the living piss out of him. I'm just gonna make nothing but marauders.
It's like,
just marauders.
What
Like,
if
don't
I
think he's gonna make
triple
a
expand
Civil
as Terran? Like,
War. You died a 2-gate, which is exactly what Volts is doing on the other side of the map here. 2-gate on the low ground, followed up by a Cyber. And did they
Wait,
actually
what?
get a... Oh no.
oh,
Yeah.
pro play.
It's like Stalkers, man. You alright?
I,
You're just
I-
like, oh, SCV, probes, they're
things.
fighting," and-
My
and
briefcase.
the whole time you're trying to like pack your suitcase full of mayo, and it's like,
It's slopping out, alright? It's gone all over my pants.
well, you know what they say, you don't want to wash it with cold water. Oh, sorry, warm water.
Why?
Make sure it's with cold water.
Why?
Otherwise, the proteins break down. Or was that semen? Hold on, I can't remember. Same difference, whatever. Just don't use
All right.
Warburg.
Well, wait, the Reaper this time going to intercept the solid. Oh my god, he's going to get a boost, and he gets a swipe.
Just the Cyclone
I've
attack.
seen it all.
I mean,
I've seen it all, guys. That was totally
the
worth
Zealot
it.
just dives for the SV, but I don't think it's going to get it this time. So even with the huge advantage that Bolt's got last game, he wasn't able to seal the deal out. So this time around's even better for Future. And I think if Future does some sort of a timing with Cyclones again, I don't think Ace respects it enough to really deal with it.
Wait, doesn't
Double
Cyclones
Stalker's
just...
going to be scary though.
It just beats Stalkers, doesn't it?
Run!
Cyclones?
Oh my god, it worked! The Reaper gets past. He threw a grenade down and stopped the Stalkers from taking the last shot. That was ridiculous.
I told you, man. He's already played the game in the future. That's why he went to the bathroom.
Right. He really knows he's won.
Yeah, exactly.
But in come
It's like an
two
oracle toilet.
Stalkers, gonna be really scary for at least a smidgen. But the Cyclone is here. Big Daddy Cyclone's gonna save him, and 4 Marines as well. And the damage is just absolutely
my
insane.
god.
Like, it's ridiculous, man. You can't be losing. Oh my god.
I bet he wish he has some circlings right about now.
Gonna catch up. Yeah. Oh. The one Reaper, couple probe kills as well. Dude, that Reaper's got 4 probe kills in the main.
Wait, are you serious?
Dubs. Yeah.
What the
and now
hell?
it's finally getting killed by the Stalkers. Yeah, so this has been like really taxing on Volt's multitasking. And behind this, Future's been able to get that second base, right? Whereas Ace still has no natural. So this is like as all in as it gets. He's making an Immortal, he's making more and more Stalkers as well. He hasn't even gotten... Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, he hasn't even gotten...
He hasn't gone what now?
Better.
I'm done.
I mean,
I'm
Future's
done.
gonna try to do this attack again, but it's Ace that's the one that's being super aggressive. But he's at least got the top of the ramp. If he can hold the top of the ramp for at least like a smidgen.
Yeah.
Target
Guardian
fire,
shield?
the
He needs
Stalkers
guardian
down,
shield.
Hold the top. Yeah, this is scary. He's gonna pull back now. He's like, okay, Immortal, lots of Stalkers. That's probably no bases there. And he puts a bunker and has some more Cycling while at home.
Where's that scan? Ah. Well. Think Future knows what's going on.
Yeah, he's got a good feel for it, but Ace, just in the nick of time, drops down that Nexus, so suddenly it's just a pressure play. It's all good, guys. It's just the timing.
Yeah, man. It's just put it just a bit of early aggression into expand, into double forge. You know, it's
You know how it is.
yeah. You know, like he doesn't even need to attack really. Like he
But
forced
he's
out.
going to.
Yeah, of course.
Not making any more probes. This Nexus is almost just kind of like a hope.
Oh my god.
that it does enough damage, but it's all going to come down to this attack. There's already SCVs pulled off the line. There's only 2 Marines in there because he lost a few. There's 1 Marine in the bunker in the main. He's only making 1 at a time. He's got so many Cyclones and a tank. These Stalkers going to get absolutely annihilated if they try to commit up here. He's going to try to use the Warp Prism to micro a little bit. The force fields are great around the bunker, but why is he shooting the one thing that's doing so little damage that it's pointless? And the Guardian Shield's down, so the Cyclones do way less damage. Huge rapid fire lock on, unable to get the Warp Prism. But I mean, the attack has been thwarted. He still has 42 SCVs at home. Like, this is unbreakable for now. Doesn't look like Ace is gonna stop trying though. As he comes up here, he's still got mostly Stalkers. There's no Zealots or Adepts, and there's 2 tanks as well. He's trying to micro, but he breaks through. 1 tank goes down. The Cyclones are still left. He's trying to save the few units he has, but down goes absolutely everything. And now Future gonna do some sort of a counter pressure. There's absolutely no units at home for Ace. He's only got the 1 Warp Prism and an Immortal on the way. And this is looking a lot like how game number 1 started.
Sure is. That's all I have to say.
You putting on your socks.
Oh!
We got the McDonald's socks coming on. And
Oh.
McDonald's pylon is now down. Oh, Artosis pylon rather.
Yeah, man, he pulled
Call
the
it
plug.
McDonald's pylon. Whatever.
How is it a McDonald's pylon though?
There's only 1 of them on your corner.
Nice. Well played. Well played.
I tried to make something of it. But now, I mean, this is just getting a little
You know,
bit
that part where I kind of have work and it's just...
dumb.
So you know what? I'm just gonna dance my probes for 5
Well, as
minutes.
far as everyone on the stream is concerned, Future has won the entire tournament.
Yeah.
Unless someone else picks up. If you look at the lower bracket, Winter able to forfeit his way all the way to the finals of the lower bracket. Gonna be playing against either Jen's Game Time or Ray's.
Yeah.
Wait, is he? Hold on. Wait, does Cicada not get another chance? Oh
Yeah, he
wow,
does. He
so
does. He
Volts is
does.
like out.
No,
He
no, no,
does?
no, 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 no. He's at the end. He's at the very end.
Oh my lord, there's actually like a decent ways
Oh
to
yeah,
go in the
there's a
lower
lot of
bracket as
losers
well.
brackets.
So yeah, so there's a decent amount. So it's a good move for you to leave now, I think.
Yeah. All right, guys. That will be it from me and Vaj. Unless Nistic can hook a brother up. But yeah. So hopefully the stream will continue, guys. It's just that obviously I had
Some form or another.
I had a commitment which everyone was like Nistic was aware of, and he was just happy for me to come in for a little bit. But oh.
Don't fall off your chair, mate. Come on.
No, just
Everyone's gonna see that in like 2 minutes.
alright, we're closing the stream now. Quick.
Quickly. Get rid of the delay. Actually, the game's still going on.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Alright, but
Alright, cheers, guys. Have a good one, and have a good day at work, man.
yeah. Alright, peace.